Campus safety is a top priority for universities across the country. Campus safety is a top priority for universities across the country. Campus safety is a top priority for universities across the country. The dining hall provides a variety of meal options for students with different dietary needs. The Study Abroad program allows students to experience new cultures and perspectives. Mental health resources are available for students who need support. The campus library is a valuable resource for research and studying. Time management is essential for balancing academics and extracurricular activities. Online learning has become increasingly popular in recent years. The food industry is facing numerous challenges related to health. Immigration policy is a complex issue that requires careful consideration. Renewable energy sources are becoming increasingly important for reducing carbon emissions. The fashion industry has a significant impact on the environment. The campus theater hosts plays, concerts, and other performances. Diversity and inclusion are essential for creating strong and resilient communities. The media plays a critical role in shaping public opinion. Urbanization is a global trend that presents both opportunities and challenges. Education is a powerful tool for promoting social mobility and economic opportunity. The healthcare industry is facing numerous challenges, including rising costs and access issues. Technology has transformed the way we work, learn, and communicate. Volunteer work can be a rewarding way to give back to the community. The arts provide opportunities for creativity, expression, and cultural exchange. Mental health awareness is essential for promoting well-being and reducing stigma. Learning a second language can open up new opportunities and perspectives. Climate change is a pressing issue that requires global cooperation and action. The business world is constantly evolving, and staying up to date is essential. Social media has changed the way we communicate and connect with others. The university offers a wide range of programs to suit different interests. Campus life can be challenging, but it is also an exciting time of growth. Climate change is a pressing issue facing our society today. The university's Career Center provides resources for job searching and career development. The Campus Art Museum features works from renowned artists around the world. The Economics Department studies the production and distribution of goods and services. The university offers scholarships to help students with financial need. The campus dining hall serves a variety of healthy meals. Social justice is an important topic in today's society. The university has a diverse student body from around the world. The business school offers internships and networking opportunities. The campus gym has state-of-the-art exercise equipment. The history of our society is complex and fascinating. The university's online courses provide flexible learning options for students. The university's MBA program is ranked among the top in the world. Small businesses play an important role in local communities. The university's football team has won several national championships. The campus bookstore sells textbooks and school supplies to students. The campus is located in a bustling urban area. Income inequality is a major challenge facing many societies today. The university's research facilities are among the best in the country. The student government organizes events and advocates for student interests. The concept of sustainable development is crucial for future prosperity. Students can borrow books and other materials from the library for free. The cafeteria serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week. The campus has many buildings, including classrooms, dorms, and offices. The energy that we absorb from food can help us prevent the cold and become warmer. There are many different religions across the world. The campus library will be closed during the winter break. Digital scans of archived materials are provided for a small fee. The bus for London will leave 10 minutes later than planned.
If you show your student card, you will get a discount. After considering all the options, she decided to take risks. The full list of undergraduate programs can be found on the website. The graph shows the population growth in the last century. The origin of psychology can be traced back to ancient Greece. Experts cannot agree on a single definition of intelligence. There is a lot more about this topic in the university website. The literal output of this research is prolific and diverse. Knowledge becomes a vital role in young generations. All students depend on their future. Students must attend the safety course before entering the engineering workshop. At that time, people moved from towns to villages. She has a small business about toys. It is expected that all students have their own laptops. You have to submit the project by the end of the week. None of the students found it difficult to get a job. His particular interest is in the 18th century French society. Such behaviors are regarded as a deviation of the norm. There are lots of opportunities available for the student on campus. Before submitting the paper, your thesis must be approved by your tutor. The office opens on Monday and Thursday following the freshman seminar. The professor took a year off to work on her book. You may not be allowed to read any books without the reading list. Most of the student advisors are extremely helpful. If you are worried about your work, you should see a study counselor. We have specially assigned staff to help you find appropriate work placements. Renewable energy sources are now used to produce electricity. Living in the 21st century is increasingly stressful. Please make sure you use the standard form of quotation. Please read the article that was given out yesterday. Compiling a bibliography can present a major challenge for some students. By logging in, you agree to all terms and conditions regarding your enrollment. We weren't able to agree on the appropriate independent variables. The chemistry building is located near the entrance of the campus. Almost all of the students want to acquire the academic award. Unfortunately, she didn't have enough money to buy the car she wanted. A letter was sent out to inform clients about the change in service prices. A hypothesis is the first step before an idea becomes a theory. Some claim that chocolate can reduce your chance of a heart attack. This institution was built to help people with psychological illnesses. You have to tackle a range of challenging problems by yourself. We offer many programs and resources to help you thrive at university. You will have the flexibility to choose your own path as a marine engineer. You will be able to develop your literacy skills through this project. There is no requirement for attendance in this research course. Our collections are available digitally in a number of ways. The museum has been awarded a grant by the Humanities Research Council. These professionals will offer you the opportunity to discuss issues with them. We have a range of on-campus accommodation available to students. Getting career advice while you're at university eases the transition from study to work. We are constantly seeking competitive advantages that allow us to make more profits. Our university has set a minimum English language proficiency level. The analytical and communication skills are essential to accounting and finance. There are opportunities for you to go abroad as part of your undergraduate studies. This dissertation is an extended piece of research on a topic of your interest. The famous professor is now illustrating the theory of financial accounting. The project modules are specified as modules of the control system. Our business is built on the network of alumni, friends, and partners. This course introduces you to the study of teaching as a profession. Our degree is built to prepare you for your career at sea. These new laboratories enhance the ability of researchers to make new discoveries. We provide a number of services to ensure a good experience for our students. You can apply for multiple scholarships in one simple application. We believe that finances should never be a barrier to university. Getting involved in volunteering opportunities helps to develop your leadership skills. The university can help connect you to local cultural groups and organizations. These services are available for those experiencing academic concerns. This new platform makes it easy to get the information you need. Our support service include health and well-being and career guidance.
Our university has campuses in the 3 distinct regions of Texas.
The team is developing original projects with new ideas and inspirations. Your studies will be guided by your own interests at our university. Technically, you can use many methods to solve these math problems. A university is an educational institution aiming to provide academic knowledge. Many people disagree about this theory due to the lack of evidence. The rules at this middle school had been very strict. We went to the store to look for cosmic books for our children. The company doesn't typically hire people with no work experience. Most families in America possess at least one car, but many have 2. She went to the mall to buy a new dress for her interview. The student deserves a prize for his good behavior at school. The teacher tried to gain her student's attention by clapping her hands loudly. You will need a great deal of money to purchase the valuable painting. You must read every single page in this book and study it carefully. Today we have a guest speaker who is visiting from Canada. He went to the university as a student of philosophy last year. The doctor will check your blood pressure to see if it is normal. To be accepted to the university, you must have passed certain tests. I need to find a tutor to help me with my science studies. The teacher imparted his knowledge of social relationship onto his students. Each student at the university has a guide that helps them select their classes. The organization has distributed food to the families in need. The nursing assistant was in charge of getting the tool for the doctor. In today's lecture, the focus will be on tax structures within the European Union. Each student can determine their own pace in this class. The cost of attending a private university is unaffordable for some students. The system is able to run more than one program at the same time. It takes a lot of practice to master a foreign language. The team carried out a thorough inspection of the project. Students had to choose one elective from the choices of art, music, and computers. The waiter answered the customer's question patiently and provided helpful information. There is a need to sharpen the focus of this discussion. He developed his own program in partnership with an American expert. He shared his own way to quickly adjust to college life. College homework has been demanding for most of the students. He performed the experiment correctly and has obtained accurate results. Each student has been given their own email address by the school. His lecture was illustrated with slides taken during an expedition. An office assistant is to help the attorney organize all of his case files. The money was distributed among schools in this rural area. Banks will check your identification before allowing you to withdraw money. Several universities in our city have rigid rules about student conduct. The professor ran over her notes before giving the lecture. Each library assistant was given a specific section of the library to distribute books. The new system is the focus of controversy among the public. I will check the map to make sure we are going the right way. She has failed to complete her degree in international business. Academic funds can only be spent on purchasing things for the classroom.
In the history curriculum, the class will be studying Egyptian culture.
The students were worried that they would fail in the final exam. He filled out the form correctly and submitted it for review. A long disquisition can take students several months to complete. The academic magazine was full of tips for both teachers and students. A liberal arts curriculum can be very broad and diverse. She has picked only one elective for the next semester. The teacher asked the students to check their work for any errors. A tutor is a teacher that usually specializes in one particular subject. Professors at the university teach many different courses, including biology and geography. He plans to get a degree in economics and then work abroad for a year. He entered the password correctly and was able to log into the system. The teacher asked the students to check their answers before handing in their homework. At the university, he made rapid progress, especially in the study of history. The seminar will include speakers willing to share their experiences of marketing. Tomorrow's lecture has been canceled due to the power cut. The assessment of this course will begin next week. This will be the first art exhibition to be held by the university. I think that to raise the issue and to talk about it is great. The university hosts a wide range of events both on and off campus. Our capacity to serve the community is a vital part of our role. A balanced diet will help you study more effectively. At the end of the day, people want to profit from return on their investment. The support and advice of lecturers within the department has been invaluable. Graduates from this course generally find jobs in the insurance industry. All the works you consult need to be mentioned in the bibliography. One of the first mass transit systems was located in France. Speaking one or more foreign languages will be useful in your career. I have lectures on Tuesday from 9 o'clock until 2 o'clock. The professor plans to discuss issues in the news that reflect concepts taught in class. These developments are discussed in more depth in Chapter 9. Each group should submit a rough outline of their project to their tutor. What's going on can help patients leave their fears at the door. There is a fitness center next to the student union. Animal behavior appears to contain both similar and distinct aspects to that of humans. Tomorrow evening there will be a panel discussion on sustainable development. It's a great privilege to welcome our guest speaker to our college. Key aspects of this investigative paradigm may prove useful in other spheres. Scientists have found all parts of science. All laboratory equipment will be provided in class. The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis. Students' papers should be about a current social issue. The college operates on a system of continuous assessments. Sleep is believed to play a critical role in storing memories.
Students who study overseas can significantly improve work chances.
Please note, submission deadlines are only negotiable in exceptional circumstances. Tuesday is the final day for students to submit their assignments without any penalty. The paper has the potential to transform life science. The capacity of programming computers is expanding enormously every year. Eating a healthy breakfast can provide energy throughout the day. The bibliography needs to be removed prior to the publication. Students can borrow this book for a maximum of 1 day. The cafeteria is open on Monday and Thursday. Many experts think that the world climate is changing. Accommodations on campus are limited, but there are more options nearby. The temporary library will be closed in the winter break. Children enjoy a healthy lifestyle when they live in a healthy family. Researchers have observed that family plays a crucial role in the success of individuals. A good education helps you recognize yourself and your strengths. During the childhood development, the importance of education is stronger than ever. A good education not only teaches you skills, but also helps you broaden your horizons. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood through adulthood. History gives us the tools to analyze and explain problems in the past. Biodiversity is essential for the processes that support all life on Earth, including humans. Most adults require between 7 and 9 hours of nightly sleep. The prospect of living in a city does not appeal to me. The free banking system has been in operation since the early 80s. Most supermarkets in this country sell a range of organic products. They are collecting information in preparation for the future talk. We know that dolphins use sound to communicate with each other. The patients were observed over a period of several months. A moderate earthquake struck the United States early on Saturday. Have you talked to your parents about the problems you're having? The job encompasses a wide range of responsibilities, so it is very challenging. Regular servicing can guarantee the smooth operation of the engine. He studies and observes the behavior of babies and has written many articles about it. The tension between the two countries is likely to remain. You have to be able to describe things in a form that users can understand. The interview only took 10 minutes, but it felt like hours. Muscular aches and pains can be soothed by a relaxing massage. I feel that not enough is being done to protect the local animal life. The medicine always made him feel sleepy and unable to concentrate. They agglomerated many pieces of research into a single large study. You still have heaps of time to complete this task before its deadline. If a computer user fails to log off, the system is accessible to all. She will talk on the issues she cares passionately about, including education and nursery care. The slim booklets describe a range of services and facilities. The value of regular exercise should not be underestimated by anyone.
The picture shows 6 of the 9 planets in the solar system. He was at the clinic recovering from an operation on his arm. I was inspired by the prospect of the new job ahead. They still haven't had any news about when they'll be able to go home. I met him on a flight from London to Paris. Our goods compete in terms of product quality, reliability, and variety. We regret to inform you that your application has not been successful. There is the potential to develop more flexible working practices. The diploma course would offer remote access to course materials via the Internet. He had been studying classical architecture and design in Rome for decades. There is some confusion about what the correct procedure should be. The program aims to educate and prepare students for a challenging career. I intend to take full advantage of this trip to buy the things we need. Can our industry compete on equal terms with its overseas rivals? Eventually, the new regulations will work to our advantage. The campaign is intended to educate the public to respect the environment. Students learn the practical application of the theory they had learned in the classroom. He looked at me in confusion and did not answer the question. She had the advantage of a good education over others. It may be said that the teacher has done his very best to help him. Many modern cities now require their citizens to sort the garbage. Our priority is to educate people about the dangers of drugs. International tourism has provided many new employment opportunities for travelers. Too much dependence on the teachers may lead to lack of motivation. The diploma should be the same whether distance learning or on-campus study is employed. All of our tutors have more than 2 years of teaching experience. The service works as a software application that is accessed via the Internet. The name was changed to avoid confusion with another firm. High-earning parents are more likely to live in a good neighborhood for raising children. This project has liberated industry from dependence on running water. In many ways, our social statistics exaggerate the degree of hardship. You don't have to tell lies to get people to like you. Parents should be aware of imposing their own interests on their children. His comments only made this issue more confusing for us to solve. Governments can help reverse this economic trend by offering technical and financial aid. This course belongs to the academic degree curriculum of communication postgraduates. The invention would have a wide range of applications in industry. Students are asked to prepare material in advance of each weekly seminar. The customers are required to rate the extent of their satisfaction. Our future prosperity depends on economic growth to some extent. It's a great place for swimming, but beware dangerous currents. Most countries tend to impose some sort of tax on alcohol and tobacco. Even my friends often confuse me and my twin sister. The book provides some valuable information on recent economic trends. She has been collecting material for her latest novel for more than a month. Which one actually dictates our future, academic degree or capability? The application for a new business license has been denied. The man is probably the best-known painter in the world. Suggested by her mother, she will take a diploma in management studies. You have to do well academically to get into medical school. The whole class were told to stay behind after school. It is difficult for young people to find jobs around here. New legislation on the sale of drugs will be introduced next year. The teacher made me move my seat to the front of the classroom. He had to spend about 6 months in a class with younger students. We are aware of the potential problems and have taken every precaution. She has successfully balanced a career and bringing up a family. The company has been performing poorly over the past 6 years. I have not received an acknowledgement of my application yet. The 2 international firms joined forces to win the big contract. All children should be encouraged to realize their full potential. Some benefits relate directly to the mental health of the teenagers. They want to bring the new legislation into force before the end of the year. The new model combines a telephone and a fax machine. The strike had already led to cuts in electricity and water supplies. You'll be able to see the latest fashion and beauty news on this website. An engine has many parts, each performing a different function. The high price is a major hindrance to potential buyers. In the future, pay increases will be related to productivity. Studies have indicated that there is a relationship between diet and cancer. Thousands of people paid good money to watch the band perform. Trainees should be invited to relate new ideas to their past experiences. She cut across the parking lot and strolled through the main entrance. I have established a good working relationship with my boss. The relation between national health and social care services is very important. The government took another step on the road to political reform. Her house was only a few doors down from her daughter's apartment. Most schools are unwilling to cut down on staff in order to cut costs. Hunger is the body's signal that levels of blood sugar are too low. The man has been fighting his addiction to alcohol for months. You can gain entry to the club only through a member. The company saw the visit as an important signal of financial support. Many students have insufficient science background to gain entrance to engineering school. The marketing department has always played a subsidiary role to the sales department. The higher rates have been a hindrance to economic recovery. Please bring back all library books by the end of the week. The amount of money you have to spend will limit your choice.
The officer was suffering from stress brought on by overwork.
I wrote to them last month and I'm still waiting for a reply. A radio signal normally has both electrical and magnetic properties. The program affords young people the chance to gain work experience. They were very curious about the people who lived upstairs. Scientists use genetic engineering to protect tomatoes against the effects of freezing. The company plans to sponsor television programs as part of its marketing strategy. The teaching of history should not be limited to dates and figures. Economic recovery can't be sustained unless more jobs are created. The signal will be converted into digital code by the computer. The company didn't disclose how much it expects to gain from the deal. He hoped they would not feel disappointed if they were not invited. The trip promises to be a great mixture of the ancient and modern. The object is to gather as great a diversity of genetic material as possible. They had faced one difficulty after another with great determination. There are no restrictions on the amount of money you can withdraw. Marketing is applied to everything these days, and books are no exception. He was suffering from exposure and shock, but his condition was said to be stable. You have to wait until the drugs have passed out of your system. The report mentions that this company has overspent on marketing. The price of oil should remain stable for the rest of the year. The economy should be organized to serve the interests of all the people. This could mean the closure of thousands of small businesses. As the project progresses, a written document will become very useful. The judge said the punishment would serve as a warning to others. He left England with the intention of traveling in Africa. This is a new system for assessing personal tax bills. Readers have been invited to write in with their comments. He lives quietly in the country in a village near the sea. The forest has provided nesting places for a wide variety of birds. I wanted to work somewhere where I could serve the community. When you have finished typing, remember to save your document. People who live near airports tend to suffer from noise. It's possible that in the course of time a cure for cancer will be found. An important factor that separates ordinary photographs from good ones is the lighting. The company has every intention of keeping the share price high. Fire has caused severe damage to the contents of the building. In the course of my everyday life, I had very little contact with teenagers. Agriculture was based on the family as a unit in the past. These seafront amusements have been attracting visitors from big cities. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a halt. Students are asked to circle the words on this list that they recognize. A vibrant and growing economy does not improve everyone's quality of life. The cell is the unit of which all living organisms are composed. A high wall separated our backyard from the playing field. I was granted permission to visit the palace last week. We need to develop a coordinated approach to the problem. He has failed to win a seat on the board of the company. Business bank accounts were being kept separate from personal ones. He made the joke on purpose, knowing it would annoy her. For the past 3 years, they have been leading totally separate lives. They were living well in comparison with people elsewhere in the world. He is a hard worker and a skilled gardener who is about to retire. He tried to shift the blame for his mistakes onto his colleagues. He has been awarded a research grant because of his excellent work. The content of the course depends on what the students would like to study. The staff should make sure the kids have an enjoyable and educational day. She ate her sandwich alongside several other office workers taking their break. The new policy shifted the emphasis away from fighting inflation. A copy of the letter was posted on the notice board. Most of our employees get posted abroad at some certain stages. It would be better to transport the goods by rail rather than by road. He seemed to take it for granted that he should speak as a representative. They appointed a new manager to coordinate the work of the team. Some experts argue that watching television can be very educational, while others disagree. His lack of experience was balanced by a willingness to learn. 2 leading law firms are to prepare legal actions against tobacco companies. You can't expect to learn foreign language in a few months. She was disappointed not to be accepted into the netball club. Has he been boring you with his stories about his trip? It is generally accepted that people are motivated by success. The history department is part of the College of Arts and Sciences. Social events and training days are arranged for all the staff. Statistics indicate that depressed patients are more likely to become ill than others. The workman expects to lose his job in the next few weeks. Our university has organized a visit to the tallest building in the world. He balanced his budgets by a rigid control over public expenditure. Her designer clothes were from the pages of a fashion magazine. The government is taking emergency action to deal with a housing crisis. Many patients are not getting the medical treatment that they need. The young girl is very knowledgeable about plants, diseases, and the causes. He built up the business over a period of 10 years. The time has come for action if these animals are to survive. The government has to find some way to balance these 2 needs. The medicines you are currently taking could be affecting your balance. Children today are brought up on a diet of television, cartoons, and soap operas. A visit to the museum will take you back in time to the last century. The local elections will be a good test of the government's popularity. They opened a new store in Europe to test out the market. We offer many express delivery options for a small additional charge. This system has imposed additional financial burdens on many people. She used her family's history as a base for her novel. There was a stream at the bottom of the garden. The public has a right to know what is contained in the report. He used to work at night and sleep during the day. The manufacturer's name is on the bottom of the plate. He had worked in the theater for many years, starting at the bottom. Basic human rights, including freedom of speech, are now guaranteed. Your duties mainly include typing letters and answering the telephone. You should include some examples in your essay to get a high mark. They are now under a great deal of pressure to tighten their airport security. There have been many complaints from members of the public. Our research group needs to find sponsorships for the expedition. It has snowed almost every day for the past week. The new manager brings a great wealth of experience to the job. The ability to get straight to the core of a problem is very important. Our beach house is just a couple of miles from the ocean. He came across this story while he was searching local news articles. She went into the kitchen in search of a soft drink. This global issue will be discussed in more detail in the next chapter. The map shows the distribution of this species across the world. Her new job as a technician does not start until May. The airport is being privately funded by a construction group. Many of her novels regarding female mental health have been adapted for television. She possessed the skills and qualities needed to succeed in a business. The company is now well positioned to compete in foreign markets. Their early success was succeeded by a period of miserable failure. Shelves were built to adapt the library for use as an office. The fund shortage put him and his colleagues in a difficult situation. We have already succeeded in working out ground rules with the department. We all hope that this film will be a commercial success. The young professor amazed us by his knowledge of history. The organisms were forced to adapt in order to survive. The eyesight can be corrected in minutes by the use of a laser. Please check that these details are correct before submitting the sheet. Levels of pollution present in the atmosphere are increasing, which is rather concerning. We spend the time presenting the information in a variety of chart forms. These pioneers have transformed clinical medicine from an art to a science. They had been forced to find cheap tickets in the gallery. The study of data communications is concerned with the form of data as it's communicated. In no sense can the issue be said to be resolved. In case of fire, always remember to ring the alarm bell immediately. He refused to comment before he had seen all the relevant information. The most serious cases were treated at the scene of the accident. The government has been committed to housing the homeless people. Stretching exercises can help you avoid injury and improve your performance. The designer will be unveiling her latest fashions for autumn and winter. He asked his daughter what she would like for her birthday. Parking lot owners should be legally responsible for protecting vehicles. If your pharmacy doesn't stock the product you want, let them order it for you. They have fostered 100 children during the past 10 years. We have booked a famous band for our wedding reception. It sounds as if they might have made a dreadful mistake. She was making a play for the sales manager's job. She taught me to be less critical of other people. This leaflet is produced for the information of our customers. I perceived a change in his behavior over those months. There was a notice on the board saying the class had been canceled. The Prime Minister is understood to have been extremely angry about the report. The equipment is able to sense the presence of toxic gases. There is no compelling reason for me to believe him. Air pollution in our country has risen above an acceptable level. He learnt to play the piano at an early age. An inquiry was set up to determine the cause of the accident. The bus line was established to determine the effect of improved public transportation. Students who have completed a placement are more likely to obtain a good job. People form into teams to achieve goals which are beyond the reach of an individual. In the plant, skilled workers who perform key jobs form into groups. This textbook teaches data science and machine learning methods for a control of complex systems. This is a practical and comprehensive guide to planning and developing a curriculum. The first assignment is due on the 14th of September. The bus right out in the front will take you to the station. There are lots of opportunities to meet people in this course. All faculty members contribute to the discovery and dissemination of new knowledge. In Canada, children prefer to go to public schools instead of private ones. In order to achieve the educational goals, tutors often have to encourage students. A team of teachers is trying to come up with an innovative curriculum. This summer program has been illustrated with many photographs of activities. Schools have to play their full part in promoting the welfare of children. For many years, the schools attempted to neutralize controversies over race. Animal science can be applied to a wide variety of careers and industries. There is widespread concern that new houses will be built on protected land. Improving the quality of air and water is important to human beings. You will get a broad foundation in the technology of machine systems. They're discussing the most efficient strategy to manage the risks facing the business. We have been trained to investigate how cultural systems matter in this situation. Agriculture is more than just farming. It's also about energy and conservation. You can join us to apply knowledge to make this world a better place. Before these papers are issued, make sure they are formally reviewed. This website can help users to tackle a typical domestic issue. You must include a statement that you are taking all courses through distance education. The lecture on how to keep plants healthy will be hosted next week. He used to take a walk in a small garden after dinner. There are a variety of opportunities to get involved with undergraduate research. Extension is only available under special circumstances. Please visit individual department websites to explore more research options. Plant pathology is the study of plant diseases, their causes and effects. You will learn to apply business strategies to solve problems in production of agricultural goods. Their work provides support to numerous projects related to the goals of the departments. Through quality teaching, the university is committed to develop the knowledge. We are committed to quality programs and responsive to a rapidly changing world. We want to improve the quality of life and the standard of living. The university embraces diversity and is committed to the discovery of knowledge. You can find faculty and staff by department or unit through the university's directories. The impact of public policy on gender and aging needs to be addressed. Children need to be provided with an appropriate learning environment. The school has developed a creative partnership with parents. As a parent, you need to choose the school that best suits your child. Aboriginal people have a long tradition of teaching and learning in their own method. Children of compulsory school age must be enrolled in school and attend every day. No one is suggesting that any health risks attach to this product. Right now, we have the ability to tackle these global issues. The householder has a duty to take good care for the visitor's safety. Transport has always been the key to developing international trade in this century. The family business is now run as a cooperative. The capacity to listen to colleagues is often considered a great skill. He had been carrying on his business until he retired last year. You may let us know what projects interest you the most. The placements are available from small local businesses to multinational organizations. We have worked together to promote a healthy research culture. A balanced approach to teaching and learning is important in education. The analysis is related to gender equality and the aging issue. He is able to understand diverse perspectives about women's literature. It's important that we interact effectively and appropriately within a diverse society. Teachers can also help students to select their future career pathway. You need to work harder to achieve your professional goals. Data visualization techniques are used to gain better insights into customer experience. Your aim is to recognize the impact of gender in all academic disciplines. Global issues may affect women's life in a positive way. The discussion covers business principles and practices in the context of everyday business events. It is now becoming too easy to collect and analyze information from computer networks. The objective is to implement a secure network to meet organizational needs. The field of Internet security is growing and evolving at a rapid pace. The new learning management systems have been updated by a group of experts. To pass this exam, you have to design and analyze 2 projects. Students are expected to refine their skills in team leadership through this course. You will be able to integrate digital media with your study. The demand for qualified teachers and school administrators is growing. The pandemic has presented education professionals with more challenges than ever before. The deadline of assignments is the 4th of February. The program is for technical and scientific students. You will find general information about the campuses and service support here. Our mentors will build and contribute to a friendly relationship with new students. Our students have participated in exchange programs to widen their horizons. Supply of clean drinking water is a problem in many parts of the world. Children need books in their own language with settings that reflect their lives. This library card provides free access to books and other learning materials. Customers can pick up the camera at the circulation desk of the store. A public library can strengthen our communities by connecting people. She continually seeks new and better ways to serve her communities. We offer plenty of sports programs for students to develop a healthy lifestyle. You will need 2 academic references to support your application. We offer a range of short online courses that are open to everyone. Tea and coffee will be available in the study rooms on the 3rd floor. Course materials include a detailed timetable and a reading list. The final 2 sessions will take place on Sunday morning. This activity will consider children of different ages and stages. We don't need to have the experience of writing a story. We encourage participants to develop their own understanding of the market. This book is to explore the history of ancient North America. Online courses have made distance learning more accessible than ever. Students have to cover their living expenses as well as the course fees. A number of the university's major sources of funding can be applied. We have gathered together the answers to some of our most frequently asked questions. The annual fee collected is not refundable under any circumstance. You need to complete the application form before next Friday. Please use the button below if you want to reserve a computer. This meeting has been hosted by a motivational speaker. We offer databases and educational resources to students of all ages. The potential to reach new customers through social media has never been greater. There may be some disruption to our services over the next few weeks. We look forward to seeing you on your next visit to the library. We offer a wide range of internship opportunities for students. The Integrated Learning Program aims at enriching students' learning experiences. Diversity of architectural styles is one of the greatest features of the main campus. There will be an opportunity to ask questions at the end of the meeting.
Drinking and driving is one of the most common causes of traffic accidents. I have made an appointment to see the doctor this morning. The family has sold most of its shares and will lose control of the company. He had managed to cover a lot of topics in a short talk. Now, most of the young people are unable to do manual labor. We did not receive any news during his long absence. She is a social scientist with a background in urban design and planning. Open access means making research publications freely available online. The professor regards this research as fundamental to our environment. We work with partners throughout the world in healthcare and business. The lecture gives information about common career paths for economics students. The doctor is also a creative writing tutor and author. A talk will be given by a leading expert from the local government. You can join our virtual open day to learn more about the campus. Fruit and vegetables grow in abundance on this small island.
The exhibition has told us the fascinating story of the steam age. The earthquake has resulted in many thousands of deaths since last week. The company has to deal with huge losses resulting from its latest investment. The court had absolved him of all responsibility for the accident. There is absolutely nothing more the medical team can do. The worker had absented himself from the office for the day. Schools should provide students with the opportunity to do manual jobs. Parents should set a good example to their children. The students will have enough time to ask questions after the talk. The company hopes the cost can be cut through reducing employment. The team has made some minor changes to the new program. New scientific discoveries about ancient people have been made every year by scientists. Some of these churches date from even earlier than the last century. The housing sales have been turning down since the last summer. The Italian cheese has been exported to many different countries. He studies in particular the fishes of the Indian Ocean. All the arrangements are now in place for the group's visit. The committee was in the process of formulating a plan. One common notion is that the elders should be respected. Medicine should not be kept where it is accessible to children. The firm has drawn up a budget for the coming financial year. The government outlined a new set of proposals on women's rights. Their research aims to shed light on the workings of people's mind. The average human lifespan in the developed countries has increased over the last decades. The campaign aims to motivate young people to improve their educational achievements. The policy ensures that there will be no bias between public and private providers. We don't know how many solar systems there are in each galaxy. We are open to any comments and suggestions on these proposals. The new contract will help to raise the company's international profile. Those children have been anxiously waiting for their presents for a morning. The famous magazine tends to publish articles with alternative viewpoints. The task proved much more difficult than we had imagined. There were lots of tourists wandering on the busy street. This office is for students who want to study abroad. The paper must be reviewed thoroughly and appropriately. The beggar was laughed at by the children. The information you need for this meeting is on the website. The percentage of respondents who knew that the Earth circles the Sun once each year remained essentially unchanged. Training covers a range of scenarios that an actor might encounter. Becoming a good actor requires persistence and motivation. You are recommended to only use footnotes when they are necessary. This teaching method provides the opportunity for students to learn by completing tasks. This type of butterfly travels to a country with a warmer climate in winter. A company may have the same legal rights as a person. The aim is to increase the speed of the processes. The new tools are being tested by senior specialists. Junior hospital technicians have to work very long hours. The doctor examined her and said she had a chest infection. I would like to make an appointment to see the professor. Languages are an essential part of the school curriculum. Lower speed limits are part of a new road safety campaign. What he's bringing to the company is financial expertise. Tests should be administered by a medical expert.
Collecting the raw materials proved a long and laborious task.
The company will arrange a taxi to meet you at the airport.
Organizational failure is considered from various perspectives in academic literature.
This Thursday is the last day for students to withdraw subjects without any penalty. Students are encouraged to think carefully about their accommodation needs. The amount of time spent on configuration varies considerably. Students are recommended to read new books by Professor Johns. An essay should use evidence from both primary and secondary sources. The art course has been canceled due to the new policy. Safety glasses should be worn while doing experiments in the lab. The final exam will test material from all chapters covered in class this term. We have very little actual documentation of it. Let us see if the technology is going to cooperate with this presentation. The tutorial rooms are located along the left-hand side.
The English expression is just a way of saying that age is not important. You can borrow up to 2 books at the same time in the library. I am glad that Professor Gordon just joined our faculty. Mobile phone chargers vary enormously from one place to another. We are considering all candidates' backgrounds and identities. There are many welcoming activities for new undergraduate and postgraduate students. Students can choose graduate certificate, graduate diploma, and master course. Please note, the proposal submission deadline has been extended.
Human activities are the principal cause of global warming.
The lecture tomorrow will discuss the educational policy in the United States. Many species have not yet been discovered by biologists. The content of the book on the cover must be in capitals. He told me it was the most important assignment of all. The trial experiment is to increase the interest of the issue and the jurisdiction clause. We've been doing research in that area for probably 25 years. The media have had a great influence on people's beliefs and attitudes. You realize that you can deal with a lot of situations. Marks will be awarded for a bibliography in the correct format. The campus car park will be closed next weekend. Understanding the historical context will help you appreciate the art in this era. She's doing a master's degree by distance learning.
Numerous courses devoted to life sciences are listed in the prospectus. You can drop or add your courses online during the registration week. It's obviously vital that companies should fully understand their customers. I took everything to the copy center this morning before class. The results of the study challenge previously held assumptions. Please make an appointment before attending the next meeting. Please make sure you have filled in all your details before submitting. Assignments should be submitted to the department office before the deadline. Computer failure is not an excuse for not submitting assignments on time. You have to submit projects by the end of this week. Most universities have libraries with digital and physical copies of journals. You may use your student identification card to borrow books at the library. Companies should do more to limit the amount of harmful gases released into the atmosphere. We heard the argument against it from several perspectives. Making a profit and protecting the environment needn't be separate aims. Keeping organized class notes will make study time more efficient. Remember to bring calculators to class next week. In Russia, my colleagues said my written language was hard to understand. For further information, you need to contact a member of our administration team. Students may not use calculators in the final exams. The first draft of the presentation is almost ready.
It is of the utmost importance that you follow the ethical guidelines carefully.
When I study, I will underline all the main points in my notes.
It seems that science can satisfactorily explain why the universe still exists.
The role of diet in cancer prevention will be discussed in the next chapter. The unemployment rate has been projected to fall in the future. The manager has to check the product quality every now and then. Many diet plans have failed because they are too boring. We carefully compared the first report with the second, looking for any difference. The students have been asked to comment on their peers' work. He has a good job, and yet he never seems to have any money. Elderly people tend to become more socially isolated than others. He has tried to persuade his children and parents to change their minds. The newspaper job had me doing the same thing day after day.
There has been a growing need for qualified teachers of English literature.
Services need to be organized more efficiently than they are at present. The plan is designed to motivate employees to work more efficiently. We need to work harder to remain competitive with other companies. They voted to table the proposal until the following meeting. I will be discussing the situation with my colleagues tomorrow. State agencies continue to cut budgets and support to a number of organizations. What I'm going to do in this lecture is focus on something very specific. Scientists are studying photographs of the planet for signs of life. They decided to spread the building process over 3 years. A wide range of colors are available in this flower shop. This is a detailed study of how animals adapt to their environment. The brain requires a constant supply of oxygen to keep it alive.
Companies must be able to survive in the competitive marketplace. He has carried out extensive research into renewable energy sources. Pictures are scanned into a form of digital information that computers can recognize. He refused to comment before he had reviewed all the relevant information. They will announce the result of the vote at the dining hall tonight. It is renowned as one of the region's best restaurants. She went to the bank to apply for a mortgage for her house. Journalists need to work with a range of technologies. The bird was fluttering its wings during the rain.
She was asked to describe what her campus life was like as a freshman.
A team is now studying the behavior of tropical animals. Their research result has been published on a science website. This article will concentrate on the role of educators with regard to adult education. The team will play a critical part in the development of networks. There were more than half students who didn't come to the lecture. Experts have made some assumptions based on students' study habits. The scholarship is now encouraging applications from students who take undergraduate programs. The parties agree they will respect all members of this academic community. The teacher forbade the student from taking the exam since he was late. This school has provided its teachers with 10 more days of sick leave.
The property is currently being rented by a man who runs a furniture business.
We have strong relationships with counselors and teachers across the country. The National Entertainment Company has funded a couple of local movies. A snake suddenly twisted around his arm when he passed across the forest. These medical colleges and hospitals were funded by a government agency. Many colleges and universities now offer modular courses to students.
A dictionary is to record the existence and meaning of all words in a language.
The council has decided that the local public libraries will close on Mondays. Guided by their teacher, the students choose their own authentic materials to work with. The subject is complex and difficult to explain. In your introduction, show you understand the question in no more than 4 sentences. Universities play major roles in students' lives. Universities across the United Kingdom welcome a range of students. It is important to cite examples to support your argument. He sold his farm and thus he had enough money for his journey. They produced 2 reports, but neither of them contained any useful suggestions. The board of this university is discussing the list of the qualified candidates. He was determined to stick to his plan of traveling overseas. Most of the students prefer to live outside of the campus. There is a special exam designed for students with disabilities. These local colleges have organized students to go on a spring outing next week. It is a social convention for people to wear suits on formal occasions. The graduation ceremony will be hosted the day after tomorrow. To take this course, students should have basic subject knowledge. There was a lack of objectivity in the way the candidates were judged. Alcohol can influence not only our brain but also our liver. The Social Security system has been accused of producing a culture of dependency. Water pollution poses a major threat to the food chain and human health. The new rules have made thousands more people eligible for legal aid. More and more people regard films as entertainment instead of art. The government yesterday announced to the media plans to create 1 million new jobs. It is strongly advised that you purchase some medical insurance for yourself when studying abroad. Somehow they had managed to escape the forest fire. Media attention has recently shifted to environmental and educational issues. Robots now have been widely applied in many fields of the modern industry. The health department is working on the prevention of this new infectious disease.
He has found a job in a local newspaper agency.
These industries are polluting our rivers with tons of chemical materials. Earthquakes happen when two tectonic plates collide with each other. The librarian has been fired because of a serious mistake. The ocean covers a large portion of the Earth's surface. Nowadays, it is almost impossible to dissociate a person's language from his culture. The monarchy in England has played an important role in modern British culture. They rejected his application for joining their football union last week. Will those happy days ever be forgotten by you? Telecommunication is based on the array of networks. My favorite sports are soccer, tennis, and basketball.
She likes to drink milky coffee with a lot of sugar every day.
Our demand for clean water will increase over the next decade.
He failed to satisfy all the requirements for entry to the college.
Those suffering from infectious diseases are separated from other patients. The company's new product has attracted a lot of public attention.
She had never achieved her ambition of becoming a famous writer. This is a 2-year course taught by means of lectures and seminars.
The educational reform was one of the main purposes of their campaign. Certain foods seem to contain more potent allergens than others. Sam is researching the relationship between social classes and education. More than 100 firemen are still trying to put out the fire. It's traditional in America to eat turkey on Thanksgiving Day. The new building will be located in the center of the town. For weeks, the country has been building up a national basketball team.
He was reading the plays of Shakespeare when I met him in the library. The government must deal with this issue as a matter of urgency. Lack of sleep can greatly decrease a person's work efficiency. Now it is well known that Earth's path around the sun is elliptical. I tend to watch the television for pleasure rather than education. There are serious penalties for failure to comply with the regulations. He is firmly convinced that it is important to finish his homework in time. We were all disappointed to learn that the picnic had been canceled. Each child was asked to participate in extracurricular activities at school. Over time, you will get a far better understanding of the job. The evidence was discovered through the study and observation of rocks.
Students will need to be in the lecture this Thursday.
Professor Tim Lee invented World Wide Web. Application forms for sharing accommodations must be completed 2 months in advance. Students' past education and experience are vital. Your lowest quiz grade has been omitted from the calculations. Essays and assignments should be submitted to the department office before the deadline. You will be quite safe if you observe certain basic precautions. The new system was confronted with great difficulties at the start. Children will adjust their behavior to meet parental approval. The aim of the cruise was to awaken an interest in foreign cultures. This paper provides a detailed framework for future research. We decided to abandon the first draft of the report and start over. Get all the ingredients together before you start cooking. The students return in October for the start of the new academic year. The book deals with the interface between accountancy and law. The mountain villages were hazed by mist in the morning. These grapes produce fruity wines with a high level of alcohol. Our immune systems are killing billions of germs every second. His understanding of the language is very rudimentary. You can minimize the danger of driving by obeying the rules. Jane took her savings out of the bank and bought a bicycle. There's plenty of room for improvement in his work. Newspapers today are entirely free from government control. He requested the old man to look after his briefcase. The swimming pool is drained and cleaned every winter. She gave up her job to devote herself entirely to the art. The Japanese recycle more than half of their waste paper each year. He suffered a serious injury that forced him to give up work. The contemporary literature works have been broadened and extended through interpretation. A very basic feature of computing is counting and calculating. She has made rapid progress in the study of philosophy. He could not feel motivated when studying mathematics. They were granted to build up a lab within the campus. Advertisements are designed to entice people to spend money. Tom has been suspended from school for his bad conduct. The simplest type of journal is called a general journal. Forthcoming events are listed on the page of the local newspaper. He suffered multiple fractures in a motorcycle accident. He has been appointed to the chair of the sociology department. The chairman is persuading the committee to agree with his opinion. The university is not responsible for items lost on its premises. The economic program for the country has been ignored. Legal aid is a fundamental part of our system of justice. Children tend to have a very short attention span at school. Britain's balance of payments deficit has improved slightly. The professor speaks English, but his native tongue is German. The piece of wood would have been carved into the shape of a flower. He's worked in that same office year after year since he was 18. People tend to behave differently in different social settings. They passed a law against cutting off power supplies. One of its core businesses was renting telephones and cars. The rate of registered marriage has been declining for years. Both companies reported a fall in profits in the first quarter of this year. This thesis is an analytic report about the Western culture. He was too shocked to give an account of what had happened. The school has been shut because of insufficient fund. The last year has witnessed an economic boost in Asia. She was in England for the publication of her new book. He failed to go to his graduation ceremony due to illness. Students on the full-time course are usually sponsored here. The railroad workers have asked for a wage increase. 2 months before his exams, he suddenly plunged into his studies. The interviewer asked her to speak into the microphone. He ranked high among the engineers in chemical technology. The results seem to contradict a study published last November. All students must return the books to the college library before the end of the term. Note that the deadline of the submission of proposals has been extended for a week. Tuition fees will vary according to the field of study. The current labor force is more competitive than it has been for a long time. She is widely regarded as the next principal of the university. The government patented the device to the freshmen. Yesterday, Mr. Brown gave us a brief introduction to the course.
The school's audio apparatus includes a new set of multimedia devices.
More and more people begin to be concerned about our natural environment. This section has discussed the relationship between sociology and values. It took him more than 8 years to graduate from the academy. It is difficult to make long-term forecasts for a fast-growing industry. The manager is not available, so the receptionist has to handle the matter. To write a good essay, you must first organize your ideas logically. The company is expected to triple their profits next year. The accounting office checked each worker's salary every month. He ordered some new books from America on a website. He has quit his boring job and is now looking for a creative one. Each chapter in this book begins with a quote from a celebrity. Foods containing overabundant calories supply little or no nutritional value. Newspapers around the country are reporting the stories of the president. I'm available this Thursday afternoon. The department determines whether or not the candidates pass. Today's lecture is canceled because the lecturer is ill. The teacher told his students to stay calm in an emergency. The woman went to a lawyer for some advice on her case. I will make this machine work even if I have to stay up all night. The government must try their best to reconstruct the shattered economy. The lamp on the roadside suddenly went out, leaving us in darkness. The man has suffered from mental disorders and drug use for years. The technology company exports both hardware and software. Incorrect choice of words may lead to ambiguity for the reader. Historians use a wide range of primary and secondary sources for their research. Their house is on a hill which overlooks the beautiful sea. The red car came to a halt just in time to prevent an accident. For years he managed to keep up the fiction that he was not married. He has been advised by the doctor to increase his fiber intake. Data processing is the series of operations that are carried out on data. The small island's economy is largely dependent upon tourism. We do not want to see a repetition of last year's tragic events. The scientist analyzed the milk and found it contained too much water. The law will compel employers to provide health insurance. During a successful business career, she accumulated a great amount of wealth. Children often depend on their parents for food and clothing. Geography is generally divided into two branches, human and physical.
When the rain came down, the crowd started to disperse.
Certain chemicals are easily absorbed into the bloodstream. Health officials have successfully confined the epidemic to a small area. Our country has registered a protest over foreign intervention.
My profession had an important influence on the formation of my character.
She was really upset about the way her father treated her. The decisions we take now may influence the course of events in the future. The mountain was sharply defined against the eastern sky. The hotel has a small lounge and a breakfast room on the ground floor. You will find a wide variety of choices available in school cafeterias. There are 3 candidates eligible for election in this ward. Winning the first prize often means years of practice and hard work. Our tickets to Australia include a stopover for 2 nights in Singapore. I made a phone call to reserve a table in my favorite restaurant. It has been shown that the number of male nurses has increased substantially. The people of the remote village showed me great hospitality. In the end, the government drew back from their extreme standpoint. The team must finish the task before the deadline by all means. I'm going to take a course in applied mathematics this semester. Most teenagers start taking drugs because of boredom. The French have acted swiftly and decisively to protect their industries. These products are inferior to those that were bought last winter. Annual business reports were a fruitful source of information. The competition is open to both amateur and professional photographers. You must not let your personal reactions interfere with your judgment. The survey shows business conditions for car manufacturers have improved. This play is divided into 3 acts, and each act has 3 scenes. Currency exchange rates are always subject to variation. In the next century, nuclear energy may overtake oil as the main fuel. Computer literacy is becoming an integral part of education for college students. She was faced with an arduous journey into a remote country. Hotel guests are requested to vacate their rooms by noon. He's passionate about the need to protect the environment. The teacher wants the children to feel confident about asking questions. The government has asked people to keep faith with its reforms. The school is widely admired for its excellent teaching quality. The charity has been involved in aid projects all around the world. You cannot cut a budget deficit simply by raising taxes. He finished his speech with a quotation from Shakespeare. They did blood tests on him for signs of vitamin deficiency. Obese people tend to have higher blood pressure than lean people. The police car was parked in the furthest corner of the courtyard. Information systems can simplify or complicate a problem. The football team was disciplined by an experienced trainer. The doctor has been accused of violating professional ethics. The report stresses that students need to improve their computing skills. The closure of the mine was the most important factor in the town's decline. Union leaders will meet tomorrow in an attempt to reach a settlement. I was driving along the road when a kid suddenly stepped out in front of me. He resigned from the company in order to take a more challenging job. The labor union called on its members to boycott the meeting. All sorts of knives will be banned from boarding a plane. Psychological and sociological studies emphasize the importance of the family. What he urgently needed was a way to remove the huge tumor on his tongue. My speech about climate change has been misinterpreted by the press. The city's most shocking statistic is the high infant mortality rate. The book contains a great many profound insights into human behavior. There is a vegetarian alternative on the menu every Tuesday. His program has by no means been a complete failure. They cut away all the dead branches from the tall palm tree. We need to encourage children to take the responsibility for their choice. The media's coverage of the election has been skewed from the very beginning. He was a mediocre scholar who loved poetry, science, and travel books. American children did less well in math than their peers in Japan. It took us over an hour to reach the crest of the hill in the countryside. They only published novels which catered to the mass market. The 7 industrial countries will have their yearly meeting in London. Hospitals now tend to discharge patients earlier than in the past. His great discovery deserves the respect and applause of his colleagues. The new machine reduced labor costs to almost zero. The treaty will give an impetus to the cotton trade between the two countries. Friendship is a source of pleasure and a component of good health. Ecologists have recently learned more about diseases that have killed millions of frogs. The announcement to cancel the final exam has thrilled the students. What the old professor said has convinced me that I was mistaken. She recently graduated from being a dancer to having a small role in a movie. It took several hours for the fire brigade to extinguish the blaze. The young man who had just won Nobel Prize comes from a small village. She clenched her fist to stop herself from trembling. The little boy was too diffident to express his opinion. A detailed list of our publications is available on request. The alarm should go off automatically as soon as smoke is detected. She was able to pick out her father at the other side of his room. After 10 hours' hard work, weariness pervaded his whole body. The big house was surrounded by a tall wooden fence. Many metals are ductile, and this makes them very tough and safe to use. The program is designed to select and store the most frequently used data. In this course, we will look at some Indian literature in its social context. Infringement of this regulation would automatically rule you out of the membership. The largest literacy program in this country reaches 100 people yearly. Social work is not the only subject in sociology. Collaboration is a feature of a successful company. The museum is exhibiting fossils of a very large dinosaur. There has been an acute shortage of water since the river was polluted. You are able to take 10 bottles of liquid free of duty through customs. Trainees are taught to pay attention to details and to strive for perfection. We could just see the outline of the house through the mist. The meeting had to finish later because of the interruption of a stranger. I couldn't understand his lecture because he kept jumping from one topic to the next. He gave the child a lecture on the importance of punctuality. 2 professors are studying and analyzing films in a room on the second floor. The latest scientific discoveries cast doubt on earlier theories. Lots of people don't bother to go through a marriage ceremony these days. The government will place tight constraints on taxes next month. Common symptoms of diabetes are weight loss and fatigue. Those who do not learn from history are more likely to repeat it. She is now a senior executive, having worked her way up through the company. It was decided by a unanimous vote that this school should be closed. People used to come and visit him after he had a stroke. The number of children in this school has decreased this year. Our profits from exports have more than doubled this year. The first 3 characters in the book are vividly presented in pictures. Doctors are unanimous about the dangers of this drug. The measures are intended to restore public confidence in the economy. It's not easy to apportion blame when a marriage breaks up. Students can find information about the 2 quizzes online. Agriculture is still largely based on traditional methods in some countries. The dam has been breached and there is a danger of flooding. They have no way to dispose of the hazardous waste they produce. She made some highly complimentary remarks about her school. The gas station is closed while essential repairs are being carried out. A campaign has begun to try to save a species of birds from extinction. When writing this report, I have omitted all unnecessary details. Rising consumer sales in the first half of the year spurred the economy to faster growth. It is necessary to examine how the new policy can be carried out. Students must submit a thesis on an agreed subject within 4 years. The student got an extension to finish writing his thesis since he was ill. Mutual respect is necessary for any partnership to work. The government is appealing to everyone to save our precious water. Even scientists do not comprehend these phenomena. We will feed the new information back to the company. Once we make the adjustments for inflation, the fall in interest rates is quite small. We must encourage innovation if the company wants to remain competitive. The most important consideration is that the environment should not be harmed. She entrusted her son's education to a private tutor. Language games are usually intended to encourage students' interaction. The 2 countries have become close trading partners in the field of crude oil. The school encourages free expression in art and drama. The firm decided to bring in a new management team. When applying for a visa, you must clearly and simply explain why you need it. The new job will provide you with invaluable experience. Enrollment for engineering courses has been low since this January. The girl shows little or no appreciation of good music. The local people in the small town regard crabs as a great delicacy.
The hotel has 100 bedrooms, all with private bathrooms. Rain, snow, and hail are collectively known as precipitation. The importance of law is present in an array of industries. Please read through our online guides and sign up for one of our learning workshops. The ending of the story was entirely unpredictable. The job would suit someone with a business background. The museum was closed for renovation and will be open next Thursday. The university welcomes applications from overseas students. Many students now see university as a stepping stone to a good job. Author and subject indexes are available on a library database. Our online digital modules are suited to a diverse audience. Technology is important for the modern world. The shopping center incorporates a library and a bank. Our secondary education degrees combine university study with practical experience. You should study this document with the utmost care. As part of the program, you can specialize in data science or scientific computing. You can find a degree to match your interests, passions, and career goals. The study demonstrates the link between poverty and malnutrition. The questionnaire asks students how they feel about services on campus. Our city is home to people from more than 200 nationalities. We digitize significant parts of library collections to make them easier to find and access. They moved off campus to share a new flat in the town. Our librarians can run sessions with classes at undergraduate level. We shouldn't sacrifice environment for economic growth. Community members can access the Biological Sciences Library on Monday. The library is open on campus and online during summer semester. The gadget can be attached to any vertical or near vertical surface. The region produces over 50% of the country's wheat. Don't waste the precious years of youth. Everything was shaded in his wet and dark room. We had accidentally strayed into the war zone. The government is expected to lay an additional tax on cars by the end of the year. A man who suffered serious brain damage during an operation is suing the hospital. The cafeteria features sandwiches, salads, soup, fish, and chicken. The teacher asked the group to commence the task. Key business partners are often intertwined in expense accounts. The top stair creaked as she went upstairs, and the noise woke up her mother. The ship successfully underwent sea trials in coastal waters. I really didn't like the movie, even though the acting was good. As she was bright and ambitious, she became a manager in no time. We need to strengthen our skills to think creatively.
Starting your studies at a new university can be exciting but overwhelming experience.
You can return items in person or by post. By borrowing from the library, you agree to comply with the borrowing rules. Team members may experience positive effects such as joy and inspiration. There is not enough space for me in the car. We can discuss education in the tutorial next week. My tutor told him not to repeat the same argument again and again. The teacher asked the group to complete the task. Building trust is not anything that can be achieved overnight. Everyone in this studio burst into hysterical laughter.
One study asked people to keep daily journals recording their appreciation for their partners.
Moving up the class ladder also brings unexpected costs. Several students raised different examples. Please make an appointment with your tutor about work. Remember, your essay should have less than 2,000 words. The university policy on plagiarism can be viewed on the website. The website has probably the most attractive designs and layouts. The data infer that further research is needed. Put the eggs in the center of the dish with the vegetables and herbs around the edge. The solution, when boiled, deposits most of its oxide in the metahydrate form. Mary felt happy when she learned the results of the election.
One creative individual in Japan has made a similar protest for decades.
It's a warm current, without which it would be much cooler. Meanwhile, universities have raised tuition every year. Academic journals are often edited by subject specialists. The head of the department is available by the third day. You should return books to the library before ending your term. The economics faculty building is located on the city road. Long, thin wires have more resistance than short, thick wires do. The greater the population there is in a locality, the greater the need there is for water and transportation. May the love of those around you help you through the days ahead. The hardness of the butter is proportional to the softness of the bread. Soil erosion can be caused by increasing rainfall and changes in plant growth. Inflation rose by 2% over this time last year. This paper is the best one to look at first. The main issue is to decide how we want to launch the new product. The quality is needed by a successful business manager, similar to those of the school. The mock trial aims to increase the interest in the law and traditional process. Modern businesses have adapted and been flexible in order to survive. Please take the altimeter in the chemistry lab. Results will be available in many courts and online. There are many people in the USA who are critical of the voting system. The renowned economist is slated to speak this evening. The first step was to establish a baseline of known distances. There is only one conclusion to this line of thought. There will be no class scheduled during the exam week. She glanced nervously around the bush and then back at him. You may need to purchase an academic gown before the commencement.
I looked in my closet for something to wear, but I couldn't find anything appropriate for the occasion.
Please submit your term papers to the general office. With the development of technology, automation brings a lot of benefits to the U.S. Students are not allowed with mobile phones in the examination hall. The scheme has been fraught with problems from the start. We blanch almonds by soaking their skins in boiling water. A public relation exercise improves the relationship between the public and an organization. Don't drink any alcohol even if you drive carefully.
You can get to the college by bus, train, or car.
Fighter jets, helicopters, and warships will guard against security threats.
Students who'd like to help produce the college newspaper should come to a meeting tomorrow. Read the instructions carefully before you start writing your essay. There is a considerable disagreement about the main cause of the revolution. Today's lecture on modern American literature has been canceled. The library will stay open until midnight during the exam period. The college provides an advice service to support students with financial, emotional, and other problems. Students should submit 2 copies of their dissertation to the department office by Friday. Next week, the department secretary will email you with the details of your tutorial groups. This college has a good reputation for both its research and its teaching. There are many reasons why knowing several languages is a major career advantage. The causality theory states that for every effect, there is a cause. If their aspirations are not achieved, they become gloomy. Fungi are important in the process of decay, which returns ingredients to the soil,
enhances soil fertility, and decomposes animal debris. The plan raised a lot of money and improved the economy of the country. Privacy issues surrounding mobile computers are becoming complex. My mom made a milkshake with frozen bananas and chocolate sauce. The chocolate chip cookies smelled so good that I ate one without asking. After she lost her job, she couldn't afford to feed her dogs, so she gave them away. I would never feed my dog with commercial dog food. He reads magazines, but he doesn't like to read books. Under normal conditions, markets will allocate resources efficiently. Long before children are able to speak or understand a language, they communicate through facial expressions and by making noises.
The library is deemed too dangerous for children, but there is one child that visits it daily. Weather here is unpredictable. The loser of the race buys everybody else an ice cream. Our university welcomes postgraduate students from all over the world. Each statement or observation needs thorough investigation and verification. Demand for an access to the library workstations is very high. His tone tonight was nothing short of jealousy. There is no point in designing efficient cars if we use them more and more. The rising inflation rate indicates a decrease in demand for consumer product. Lecture will be available in audio or video. The field training will start soon, so pack everything before the deadline. Design changes need to be considered carefully to ensure improvement. The atmosphere is composed by oxygen and nitrogen gases.
The geography assignments must be submitted by midday of Friday. The assignment should be submitted prior to the spring break.
The website is designed to be highly interactive. There are 3 separate assignments for this module. Effective presenters make eye contact with the audience. The chief industries are weaving leather, making dyeing, and working in iron and pottery. Students should take advantage of the online help system before approaching their lecturers. Before attending the lecture, you must register online or by post. Please click the logo above to enter the site. Young children need education and organized activities.
Any textual references you make should be cited appropriately in the footnotes.
The difficult teacher is always responsible for the contribution to student marks. By using the student identification card, you can borrow books from the library. The topic for discussion is usually related to the topic for a speech. The university offers facilities to students and staff.
Please remain seated after finishing your exam.
The brain is our central computer of our bodies. The exam will start on time. Please prepare yourself. Read the safety instructions before using the equipment during the workshop. We all know there are more important things in life than the rat race. I was young and inexperienced in going too fast in wet weather. It is quite clear that further research is required. Global warming is a threat to economic growth. Exercise is important for mental and physical health. Services are rapidly growing in parts of the global economy. Cells are the basic building blocks of all animals and plants. You cannot leave the examination center until you complete the form. Introduce your staff thoughtfully into all aspects of the unit. Car permits are available to students and staff. If you need help, let me know because I am here. It is very important to wear masks during this pandemic. Australia is the first AIDS-free country in the world. Library timings are between 4 to 10, and you can register yourself online. The faculty staff are very approachable, helpful, and extremely friendly. The gap between the rich and the poor does not decrease. Students have the options to live in college residences or apartments. We have 3 distinctive libraries which are nationally acclaimed. Parking permits can be collected through the Student Service Office. Please don't forget to check your email for the updates of the week. Tuesday sessions will last for approximately 2 hours. We should focus on innovation, and if we don't, we are bound to lose out. Many industries have moved to the countryside where manufacturing costs are lower. Everyone should get access to art galleries no matter where they live. Until you complete the form, you cannot attend. There is too much information on this topic. Presentation skills are important to both universities and workplaces. Major sports on campus include rugby, soccer, and tennis. It is clear that the effects of climate change will damage the world economy. The framework will help pose more research questions systematically. The light can be seen as waves or particles. Experience would be an advantage for this managerial role. Students only can select one subject from biology and math. The library is located on the north side of the campus. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the other theories that can explain the variations in climate. Good research presents many benefits to the real people. You should include your name and identity number in the registration form. Half of the marks in mathematics are allocated to the correct working. What is the most effective way of interaction between teachers and students in class? The development in the information technology has greatly changed the way people work. I would like the assignment less than 2,000 words. We can meet in my office after the lecture. The sports team members often practice on weekdays and play games on weekends. You need to read the chapter before the management class. Talented people do special marketing. I have a sandwich and milk for my breakfast. The course will be tested at the end of the semester. Biographical information should be removed prior to the publication of the results. The United States is the largest chocolate manufacturing country. Children are not allowed to be in the laboratory at any time. If you forget your password, you need to contact the Student Center. The quality of our accommodation is high, but it is still affordable for students. An extra lecture is about to be scheduled at the end of this week to assist you with revision. Can you help me complete this new questionnaire that the university asks for? The characteristics of the newly discovered insects match the ones we have on record. Many people approached and were eager to help, but he didn't want their help. I guess the only way to make up for all the lost time is by doing overtime. If you have a driving license, getting a job would be easier for you. In the winter it gets harsh, but it won't be an issue since there is a heater. It was a groundbreaking discovery, but they had to pay a very high price for it. The due date is canceled because they found many issues in the project structure. Public speaking is one of the qualities they were seeking among the candidates. What is the best possible way to get the work permit for this job? You will probably need to find the nearest post office to be able to access that service. The treasure hunters were willing to take any risk to get to the location. The process is simple. Just call them or ask for a representative to guide you. It was impossible for me to make an arrangement of pickup on given dates. You need a valid visa letter from the department to join the workforce. If they find you suitable, they will happily apply for your visa sponsorship. The renewable energy alternatives were the main aspect of debate during the meeting. Are you supposed to complete the assignment without any help from others? You are supposed to provide your research efforts to your project coordinator. The university is willing to join the joint research efforts of the local council. It takes just over 8 minutes for sunlight to reach our planet. You need to contact us regarding the weekly availability of the telescopes. To be honest, the scholarships are reserved to boost admissions. He was clearly saying that his neighbors always helped him in his difficult times. If you want your seminar to be postponed, make sure to get permission first. If you knew how to get there in time, why didn't you tell him? To be precise, your assignments need an abstract at the beginning. If you have an extra pair of shoes, may I have it, please?
The newly discovered star was a subject to global debate about its origin.
Wearing a mask is one of the best ways to curb the pandemic. Students who wish to join the summer camp should enroll by this weekend. During an official ceremony, a memorandum of understanding was signed by the academic dean. Please be careful when using internet sources. Globalization problems need to find globalized solutions. Gravity is extraordinarily weak and nearly impossible to study directly at a quantum level. During the 19th century, immigrants and urban political machines helped in the voting. Fossil fuel companies know how to stop global warming. Biology is the backbone of many specialized courses in the university. Please be careful when using online translation programs. All course materials will be posted online. If you need help, I can give you a hand in finding a flat. The course comprises 20 hours of lectures, seminars, and tutorials each week. To get further extension, you need to call the education executive on 401. A group of former students are reminiscing about their college days. He has led the party for over 20 years. By changing the body positions, we can actually express our thoughts and feelings. The context is basically the background of framework surrounding the act of communication. You need to change your username and password as soon as we recover it. Professor Gordon just called me a few minutes ago. You need to use a Bunsen burner and a test tube. There is a new pharmacy on the north side of the university campus. Those students have to retake the module if their marks are too low. The history of economics is a tricky subject to study. Sea levels are expected to rise during next century. Her father prevented me from talking to her. There won't be any space for me in the car.
I look forward to meeting you and helping you realize your goals.
Read the fitness center instructions before attempting to use the equipment.
The books are filled with drawings of machines invented when he was a student.
Financial support can be offered to help pay your fees and other costs. It is necessary to solve the equation to determine the unknown variable. The book is informative, but it could be accused of political bias. Our tutorial will take place on the second floor in room 1. The library offers group study rooms, so you can work with other students. Proficiency in a foreign language may be demonstrated by assessment. The burning of fossil fuels leads to pollution and global warming. I think we can all agree that being fluent in 2 languages is a good thing. My siblings and I were waiting for my mother to come back from the hospital. 85% of people say they fear speaking in public. When we are stressed, our skin releases a natural chemical, a hormone, that repels mosquitoes. We need to approach communication in an open way. People tend to be least happy in middle age. I am wondering if cell phones are actually just as dangerous as cigarettes. For human beings, breathing is a symbol of life. How can we inspire people and ourselves to be self-motivated? Back in the 1940s and 1950s, people were smoking cigarettes frequently. The speaker mentioned two things that affect happiness. I think of those leaders who inspire us to go beyond the call of duty. Some young people seem to be addicted to their cell phones. Did you know that to become more fluent, you need lots of practice?
Companies are offering us all kinds of internet-connected devices.
Humans have the ability to mentally say over 700 words a minute. If you want to receive the reimbursement, you must submit the original receipts. The students were instructed to submit their assignments before Friday. He was regarded as the foremost economist at that time. Please read the first 5 chapters to prepare for next week's tutorial. When the demand for the course rose, university authorities took on additional academic staff. Students can download the lecture handouts from the course website. Being a vegan means not consuming any animal products. The university supplies a number of scholarships for those who have specific goals. Please note the college laboratories will be closed for cleaning next week. The aim of the work presented could be formulated as follows.
Students should take advantage of the internet before attending the lecture.
I would like an egg and tomatoes on white sandwich bread with orange juice. Applicants for the course preferably have a degree in English or journalism. Opposition to the government tax policies is widespread across business sectors. The maximum production of chocolate is in the U.S. Critical literature theories broaden interpretation. Any text or references you make should be cited appropriately in the bibliography. Companies' projects must adapt to the general data protection regulations. The free trade is mutually beneficial for both partners. The health center is situated at the corner of the university behind the library. The cafeteria closes soon, but the snack machine is accessible throughout the night. The puppets do comedy routines, and there is some terrific formation dancing. We're constantly looking for ways to bring industry and agriculture closer together. The technician left the new microscope in the biology lab. Only those who are over 18 years of age are eligible to open a bank account in our bank. Ideally, free trade is beneficial to both trading partners. All applications of internship are available in the office. The geographic assignment should be submitted by the midday of Friday. Robert Frost thinks the rural area is livable for people in New England. This is how we deliver health care to millions of people over the world.
In English, the first letters of the months of the year are always capitalized.
A thorough bibliography is needed at the end of every assignment. I'm glad you arrived here with safety. It is utmostly important that you don't rely on translation online. Contemporary critics dismissed his idea as eccentric. Every living thing begins as a single cell. The translator is not available in our department. My laptop has crashed and cannot save any file. Scholarship applications must be handed in at the end of the month. Your tutor is there for help, so do ask if you don't understand anything. You should go to the reception to get your student card. You must ensure you do not include too much irrelevant information. You come with me and the others just stay here. You can pay by cash or using a credit card. You can only choose one subject from biology and chemistry. You are required to submit the assignment before Friday. We are required to submit the assignment before Friday. They have enough works to keep them going. The university supplies a number of scholarships for qualified students. The United States has developed a coffee culture in recent years. The Lecture Theater 1 is located on the ground floor of the PAC building. The bookstore is located on the main campus behind the library. Much of the evidence used has only recently become available. Most printers in the library are out of ink. It is clear that there is little accurate documentation in support of this claim. Is the hypothesis on black hole rendered moot as the explanation of astrophysics? In this library, the reserved collection of books can be borrowed for up to 3 hours. I can give you a hand if you need help. Essays with few or no citations will raise the concern of the lecturers. The number of company bankruptcies skyrocketed in the third quarter. It is argued that students can learn more in collaborative rather than individual study. Our capacity to respond to national needs will determine our ability to flourish. Most of the lectures begin promptly, so do not be late. In my free time, I would like to read current affairs and newspapers. Negative discourse continues to be predominant in discussions about gender. The undergraduate students are taught with a rigorous course in our psychology department. The trip for the professional training will start soon, so pack the items before we leave. The competency of the language in the assignment is to use more formal words. In the dark, before the dawn, the plane was assembled. Lots of students had money and passports stolen, especially at night. It is just a feeling of having tried something new and succeeded. Unfortunately, their immune systems were not strong enough to fight off common earthly bacteria. Our university accommodation has a volleyball team for students to join in. The number of bankruptcies skyrocketed in the third quarter. Anonymous behaviors can be identified without intervention. His objection to including scientific evidence has brought a lot of criticisms to him. Newspapers across the world reported stories of presidents. The timetable for the new term will be available next week. The timetable for next term will be available next week. We would like a videotape for the lecture. Internet provides unusual opportunities for students and current events. Children can share their lunch at around noon. The university has a number of travel scholarships that students can apply for. We are so dependent on the computer that we cannot live without it. I don't like cheese and tomato sandwiches on white bread and orange juice. If she doesn't speak the language, she's not going to sit around and wait for a translator. To answer such a complex question with a simple yes or no is absolutely impossible. Fishing is a sport and a means for surviving. In 1830, periodicals appeared in large numbers in America.
arteries carrying oxygenated blood from the heart to other parts of the body. Since the problems we face are global, we need to find the global solutions. Many of the university's original buildings are still in use. The key to success in the exam is to study hard and do well. We will see if we can get through this without too many interruptions. We will study the following 2 pictures in the next lecture.
Companies are aiming to earn the money, not to change the society.
We need to read the first 5 chapters to prepare for next week's tutorial. It is good for the environment, also good for your electricity bill. As a student union member, we can influence the change of the university. Animals grow larger and stronger to help them to hunt better. The new English class will start next Monday morning. The lecture was meant to start at 10. The Generic Biology Technology Lab is located at the north wing of the library.
Don't hesitate to email me if you have any questions.
The department works closely for business community.
She feared becoming an object of ridicule.
There are varying approaches to plagiarism across different university departments. It is within the framework that we're making our survey. The timetable will be posted on the website before the class starts. It is interesting to observe the development of language skills of toddlers. Students should book a library tour on the first week of the first semester.
Care needs to be taken for vulnerable groups in times of infection. In 1880, cycling became a major phenomenon in Europe.
The hypothesis on black hole is rendered moot as the explanation of the explosion. Care needs to be taken for vulnerable groups during the periods of turmoil. Exam results will be available next week on course website. The older equipment has been put at the back of the building. The Genetic Biology Technology Lab is located at the north wing of the library. We want to attract the very best students regardless of their financial circumstances.
We need to make sure the school principal knows about the changes.
Expertise in particular areas distinguishes you from other graduates in a job interview. Make sure the financial director knows the full details of the pay agreement. We didn't mean to ask him to do it because he cannot manage it. I didn't agree with the author's argument, but his presentation was good. Students are competing for every place in the computer courses. This is a prestigious program for our university. There is considerably less supervision at university. Our School of Arts and Technology accepts applications at all points throughout the year. There are a range of housing options near the university.
All sources of materials must be included in your bibliography. Negative discourse continues to be predominant in discussion of gender.
She told the faculty to be very supportive.
His objection to including scientific evidence has brought a lot of controversy to him.
The professor is going to discuss the conflict. Many undergraduate students go back home to stay with their parents after graduation. Essays with few or no citations will be regarded as invalid. 39.5% of Californian residents do not speak English at home.
Nearly half of television outputs are given away for educational programs.
The minimum mark for distinction grade is no less than 75%.
Number the beakers and put them away until tomorrow.
Organic food is grown without applying chemicals, and the process is without artificial additives.
I used to have coffee with milk and 1 sugar. I would like tomato and cheese sandwiches on white bread and orange juice. You can only choose one subject from biology and media.
If you want to sell all your books, it must have a list of bibliography.
The Student Service Center is located on the main campus behind the library. Our fundamental realities, especially national needs, have seen the ability to flourish.
I don't understand what the comment of my essay means.
The United States has the maximum production of chocolate. Those reference books are too old, while the others are okay. A renowned economist is selected to have a speech tonight at 8. The hypothesis needs to be tested in a more rigorous way. In my free time, I would like to read newspapers. His lecture is always useful and stimulating. It seems that language appears from nowhere. Today we will be discussing the role of government in preventing injustice.
We didn't have any noticeable variance between the 2 or 3 tasks.
You should inquire about the direct deposit.
The theoretical proposal was challenged to grasp. The most modern agricultural equipment is now extremely expensive. The search for universal explanations plays an important role in the development of archaeological theory. The university will introduce several new courses in the coming year. Diagnosis is not a discrete or limited process. Diagnosis is not a single event, but an evolving process. The cafe will close soon, but you can use the snack machine, which is running overnight. Higher fees make students think more critically about what universities can offer. We are constantly looking for ways to bring industry and agriculture closer together. Environmental friendliness is a new category in which campuses are competing.
Please make sure all workers follow the department guidelines.
There will be an open book exam on Monday the 28th.
Fishing is a sport and a means for survival.
She is an expert of the 18th century French literature.
This can be used as a starting point of my discussion today.
Modern poetry often tests the conventions of language and the rhythm. Meteorology is a subject of Earth's atmosphere. The Arts magazine is looking for a new assistant editor. The trial is to increase the interest of the issue and the jurisdiction. The concepts in this thesis were not new. Students' identification cards will be issued today and tomorrow. History is not a simple collection of dates and events. Genetic and biochemical analyses have generated a detailed portfolio of mechanisms. Could you please pass the handouts along to the rest of the people in your row? Newspapers across the world are reporting stories of presidents. Companies need to satisfy customers' needs if they want to be successful. Spiritualism is defined as a system of belief or religious practice. Student loans are now available for international students. By clicking this button, you agree with the terms and conditions of this website. There is limited funding in this department to support qualified students. Physics is a detailed study of matter and energy. Would you pass the material textbook on the table? 100 years ago, Albert Einstein first published his theory of general relativity. The program will be shown on the television during the weekend. There is absolutely no archaeological evidence to prove that Alexander the Great existed. I spent my time really studying human beings. All lectures, handouts are downloadable on the university website. This small Indian state is a land of forests, valleys, and snowy islands. I'm glad you got here safely. I will be in my office every Tuesday and Thursday. I think it's really difficult for an Englishman to imitate a real American accent.
Globalization has been an overwhelming urban and urbanization phenomenon.
Eating too much will do harm to your health. Due to the rising demand for courses, the university should also increase their academic staff. Does the government in your country help families that need help? Conservation is the survival of future generations. You will be less stressed if you are well prepared for the exam. You should include your name and identification number on the registration form.
We've decided to ask you to write 4 short pieces of handwritten coursework this semester.
We offer a broad range of undergraduate and postgraduate courses. We must put great care when analyzing the data. We like people to write a case study describing an organization they know. We don't teach the same way as we used to. To receive the reimbursement, you must keep the original receipts. This year we are applying to use a different type of assessment on this module. This can be seen as the starting point of my discussion today. There are lots of people competing for places in computer courses. The wheelchair lift has been upgraded this month. The visiting professor is going to give a lecture on geology. The results will be available in the main course and online. The recent study has thrown out the validity of the argument. The office said Dr. Smith will arrive later today. The office opens on Mondays and Thursdays directly following the freshman seminar. The majority of the hardware we are using was built for a customer. The lecture will deal with the influence of technology on music. The inherent tension between these two features remains to be addressed. The information on the internet is becoming more reliable. The first few sentences of an essay should capture the reader's attention.
The date of the invention of the first clock was disputed among historians.
The current statistical evidence indicates the need of further research.
The course registration is open in early March for new students.
The country suffered a series of invasions by present-day Germany and Denmark. The contest includes both the land history and the human history. The college welcomes students from all over the world. The author expressed an idea that modern readers inevitably cannot accept. The aesthetic implications of this study have not yet been fully explored. Students can download the materials from the website.
Sport is the main cause of traumatic brain injuries in the United States.
She used to be everywhere, but today she is missing. The residence hall is closed prior to the closing time of the academic building at the end of the semester. Put the knife and fork next to the spoon near the edge of the table. Please finish all the reading chapters before the field trip. Next time, we will discuss the influence of the media on public policy.
Most university teaching takes place in lectures and seminars.
Most of the assignments should be submitted on the same day. More females than males graduated from universities last year. Meeting with tutors could be arranged for students who need additional help. Many of the urban poor lived in an extremely cramped condition. Many of the most popular courses are available online. Journalism is the collection and publication or transmission of news. It's time to finalize the work before the Wednesday seminar. It's the words of common occurrence that have different referential value. I've got a tutorial in an hour and I haven't had any time to prepare for it. I will check again, but I am pretty sure we are supposed to read Chapter 2. I will be in my office every day from 10 to 12. I thought the midterm exam was only worth half of our course grade. I didn't attend yesterday's lecture. Could I borrow your notes? I believe children should read aloud more.
Farmers do not always receive fair prices for agricultural goods.
Elephant is the largest land-living mammal. Don't forget to hand in your assignments by the end of next week. Doing this research makes me think of the purpose of science. The context includes both the land history and the human history. Could you please pass the handouts to students in your row? Conferences are always scheduled on the third Wednesday of the month. Being a student representative on the union really cuts into my study time. Anyone who has a problem with their accommodation should speak to the welfare officer. Allergy problems do run in the family, but we don't understand why. All students and staff have access to printers and scanners. All undergraduate students should participate in the seminar.
All necessary information is in the assignment.
A study skill semester is on for the students who require assistance. A computer virus has destroyed all my files.
Would you please put the materials on the table?
You can change your courses on the website during the registration period.
The largest department in this university is History Department. Your watch is fast, you need to reset it.
You can pay using cash or a credit card. Most students in last year's course did well in this module. It is good for the environment, also good for your bill.
You can find the Student Service Center on level 1 of home building. Please do not bring food into the classroom.
This semester we plan to specialize in education psychology.
The number of students registering for postgraduate research has risen.
They say Professor James's lectures are always interesting and fun. Please pass the handouts along to the rest of the people in your row. To measure distance could take as much as 3 weeks. I expect a long and stagnant debate for a week or two on this issue.
All students on engineering courses spend 1 year working on the raw experience.
I've always been interested in biology and physics. Without doubt, his primary motive was economic growth. Computer software has changed a lot since last year.
The new drug will be tested in North America.
Before choosing your university course, you should consider your career. History is not a collection of dates and events.
The application form must be submitted before the end of term. All of our accommodations are within a walking distance to the academic buildings. The politics combine both the legislative and the political authorities.
Some methods for clinical applications have been presented as well.
We developed a method for evaluation of dynamic changes.
Quantitative and temporal parameters of food consumption were used.
Proteins constitute at least 30% of the total mass of all living organisms.
The current and conventional method has many disadvantages, including the side effects.
Most of the strategies are in a preclinical state. There has been a rapid growth in the commercial market.
Cellular engineering strategies are highly desirable.
This process has enabled the rational identification of core machinery.
A key feature in drug development is examination of the pharmacological effects. A science-based approach is vital for effective advancements.
This essay examined the use of computer in the science classroom.
The website interface represents the stimuli that influence consumers' decision-making.
Participants were not performing an actual purchase.
In marketing, short-term thinking leads to many problems. The gap between the rich and the poor did not decrease rapidly as expected.
The professor will be the last speaker this evening.
The problem with this is that it fails to answer the basic question.
We would like a first draft of the assignment by Monday.
Number the beakers and put them away. Our university has strong partnerships with industry as well as collaborative relationships with government bodies.
What distinguishes him from others is his dramatic use of black and white photography.
A lot of people who have up until now been spending money having a good time now need to be more careful with their money.
In our campus, prospective students have access to 13 college libraries.
Organic food is grown without being applied chemicals or artificial additives to.
Student discount cards can be used on campus in the coffee house.
It provides an opportunity to work with other disciplines.
During the second term, you are supposed to submit one essay per week.
In the past, people ate very different food.
Many medical volunteers no longer have access to medical literature.
The new professor used to work in a World Bank. One of the hardest things about starting university is finding your way around. You need to be careful when quoting internet source. Students who selected 2 to 3 courses may need an extension. I am pleased to report that many topics have been involved in this lecture. Meeting with mentors can be scheduled for students who require additional support.
The U.S. ranks 22nd in foreign aid, given it as a percentage of GDP. In the 1830s, periodicals appeared in large numbers in America.
Folk tales are passed orally from generation to generation. Storytelling is a common teaching technique in many countries. Chapter 1 provides the historical background to the topic. You must go to the reception to pick up your student card. He is almost never in his office. Leading scientists speculate that numerous planets could support life forms. That country's economy is primarily based on tourism.
The study of archaeology requires intensive international fieldwork.
The television output is giving evidently educational programming.
This session is not supported by documentation. She doesn't even care about anything but what is honest and true. His academic supervisor called in to see him last night. It's important to keep this medicine in the fridge. Tomorrow's lunchtime seminar on nuclear engineering has been postponed. During that period, heavy industry grew rapidly in the north of the country.
The chemistry building is still open during vacation. There is a limited amount of departmental funding which is available for qualified students.
Politicians can make better decisions if they listen to the public opinion.
The lecture management in Japan will take place in the week 7.
The investigation aims to establish stains of the problem.
But they haven't come to widespread use yet.
Hemoglobin carries oxygen from lungs to other parts of the body.
You can retake the module if your marks are too low.
The well-known economist was supposed to reread the subscription before 8.
Students are not allowed to take the journal out of the library. Please explain what the author means by sustainability.
Research has found that there is no correlation between diet and intelligence.
Hypothetically, insufficient mastery in the areas slows future progress.
Once more, under the pressure of economic necessity, practice outstripped theory.
Please sort and order the slides of the presentation according to topic and speech time.
You need to give a better example to support your argument.
In our city, students have access to 13 college libraries.
The brief outline takes us to the beginning of the 20th century. Our class is divided into two groups. You come with me, the others stay here. He was not the only one to call for legal reform in the 16th century. Does the college refectory offer vegetarian dishes on a daily basis? All essays and seminar papers submitted must be emailed to your tutor.
Most scientists believe that climate change threatens lives on the Earth.
The seminar papers should be submitted in the main office, which is located behind the library. The doctor was not here today. The registration for courses is open for new students. Please write your name on essay cover sheet. If you have problems, please contact your tutor. The chief economist has radical ideas for the economy. No crop responds more readily than careful husbandry and skillful cultivation. You should raise your concern with the head of school. You need to write a proposal for your research. You must take 3 core and 2 elective courses in this semester. You must read the supplementary materials, as the professor has a habit of asking questions from it. You must complete this chapter before going to the field trip. You don't have to be on Professor Smith's course to attend this lecture. You are not permitted to take reference books out of the library.
You can find the Student Service Desk located on the ground floor of the whole building.
Would you prepare some PowerPoint slides with appropriate graphs? When we think about communication, we think about interaction.
We need to hand in our assignments by the end of this week.
We don't accept assignments submitted after due day. We are delighted to have Professor Robert to join our faculty. Vocabulary in a special field is jargon. Visual aids can make presentations clear and more interesting. Tuesday's lecture on social psychology will now take place in the Central Hall. Try to explain how your ideas are linked so that there is a logical flow. To improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes. This science fiction novel uses inventions of better space to create the setting. This module develops our understanding of the theory behind advertising campaigns. This material is good for the next week's seminar. This lecture was meant to start at 10. This is the 3rd time you've asked for an extension on this project. There's an hourly bus service from the campus into town. There will be ample opportunities to ask questions about the presentation. There will be a guest lecturer visiting the psychology department next month. There is varying plagiarism across different university departments. There is no entrance fee for tonight's lecture. There is little evidence available to contradict his viewpoints.
There are varying plagiarism across different university departments.
Theories are based on practical as discussed. The vocabulary with particular meaning is jargon. The university is dedicated to providing quality education to all students. The tutorial is held on the 8th of April. The tutor is there to help, so do ask if you don't understand anything. The thoughts never cross my mind. The smart city is an idea that has captured the imagination of governments all over the world. The seminar on writing skills has been cancelled. The School of Arts and Design has an open day on Thursday next week. The research paper should begin with a thorough review of the literature. The purpose is to build new houses for local people. The psychology department is looking for volunteers to be involved in research projects. The pollution level in New Delhi has reached an alarming level. The pharmacy was closed when I went past this morning. The opposition has so far been unresponsive to our proposal. The lecture tomorrow will discuss the educational policies in the United States. The law library is closed on Sundays and public holidays. The latest version of the operating system has many flaws. The fertile plains in the east of the region provide excellent land for farming. The coffee is free for the university students on weekdays. The clear evidence between brain events and behavioral events is fascinating. The city needs improved infrastructure to attract more investments. The chief executive reads several new books every month. The car he was riding crashed into a train. The bus in front of the building will takes you to bus station. The buildings looked lovely in the bright sunshine. The bookshop is located at the north of main campus. The application form is available in the office. Several copies must be supplied to the university department to fulfill the requirement. Scientists are getting closer to the answers of these questions. Quality of life is an important measure on which the cities are ranked. Physiology is the study of internal and external structure of the body. Parental expectations are a major cause of stress among students.
The agricultural sector in that country has been heavily subsidized.
Studies suggest there may be a correlation between educational achievement and family size. Students will not be given credits for assignments submitted after the due date. Students must observe lab safety regulations at all time. Students are not allowed to take journals out of the library. Staying near the place of work saves precious hours every day. She was always here, but today she is missed.
One of the salient features of academic writing is the tendency to use formal words.
On this project, you will be asked to work as a group of 3. Of course, you can also choose to have your grades emailed to you. Of all the heating and cooling options, central heating is the best. No more than 4 people can be in the lab at once. Most of these criticisms can be shown to be false.
Students with queries about this term's timetables must speak to the tutor immediately. The seminar will now take place once a week on Tuesday.
Colombia is a world-leading coffee exporter.
Note-taking methods work greatly both on paper and digitally.
Meteorology is a detailed study of Earth's atmosphere. Mary has nobody to talk with, but she doesn't feel lonely. Many privately owned firms have been eaten up by larger corporations. John went rushing off down the corridor.
It isn't easy when it comes to the definition of this word.
It is obligatory for companies to provide details of their industrial processes. It is important to validate all assumptions before arriving at a conclusion. It is important to take gender into account when discussing the figures.
It is confidence and optimism that I now have. Despite the cold temperature, the sky is clear and blue.
In Europe, the political pressure is similar regarding globalization. In English, the month of the year is always capitalized. If your parents come to visit you this semester, where will they stay?
If you forgot your student number, you should contact Jenny Bryce.
If you are unable to complete the task in time, please notify me by email. I've always been interested in biology and physics. I'm sorry for being late for today's lecture. I'm quite aware of my own inadequacies. I would like to drastically decrease the amount of time it takes me to clean the house. I used to have a cup of coffee with 1 sugar. I think we should get together over the weekend to discuss this assignment. I think it's one of the best things I have done really. I spoke to him in English, but I couldn't make myself understood. I missed yesterday's lecture. Can I borrow your notes? I know how to solve the problem, but I've been asked not to tell you. I just want to let you know that I think you're the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen. I found a large rock and I broke through the basement window. I didn't understand the author's point of view on immigration. Humans need to use energy in order to exist. Here is only one example, but there are lots of others. He kept giving me suggestive looks. Government policies, though tough, have been a blessing in disguise. Factors such as cost and function influence the design of the bridge. Extra seminars to be scheduled to assist you with revision. Exam results will be available next week from the course office. Every year, students pass biology course easily. Environmentalism is a category in which universities are competing. Electric cars are the future of transportation as they promise a cleaner environment.
Reserve collection of books can be borrowed for up to 3 hours. Answering such a complex question with a simple yes or no is absolutely impossible.
Do analysts really think the producing energy is largely responsible for current environmental problems? Distance learning has become far more popular these days. Critics want the government to take this one stage further and ban the film together. Costs can be calculated once the critical path has been established. Company software has changed a lot in the last year. Books which are overdue will incur daily fine. Australian economy depends heavily on revenue from tourism and education. As for me, it is a strategy to go to judicial review. Applications for the course preferably have a preference over English or journalism. Apple is expected to announce several new products this fall. And in this regard, as well as in other regards, this consideration is important. All the assignments are based on class discussion. A preliminary bibliography is due the week before the spring break.
The topic next week on colonialism will be the nuclear disarmament.
The library is located at the other side of the campus behind the student center. Residence Hall is closed prior to the academic building closing time in the semester. Would you like to videotape our lecture? Many students are so scared of writing essays, because they never learned how. Many health workers think that pensioners are too old to understand. In consultation with your supervisor, your thesis is approved by the faculty committee. Please go straight and turn left to reach the library. We must not be discouraged by setbacks in life. Facebook is one of the most popular websites in the world today. Traffic is very bad in the evening, therefore, we must leave early. There will be open book exams on Monday the 28th. The program depends entirely on private funding. The chemistry exam results will be posted on the website. More muscles are used in swimming than any other sport. Few people now are skeptical about alternative power sources such as wind power. The first person in space was from the Soviet Union. She ate a sandwich and drank juice. People with an active lifestyle are less likely to die early or to have a major illness. Please prepare a PowerPoint presentation for tomorrow's meeting. Lecture theater is located on the ground floor of the building. I could not save my work as my computer got crashed. I was overwhelmed with too much irrelevant information. If you need any information about the university, you can check from information office located beside the corridor. Our log books make up of 5% of total marks. Interpreters are not readily available in this department. To understand its entity, we need to go back to its origin. She sold all her furniture, so she could afford to feed herself and her dog.
After I graduate from college, I spent 2 years traveling around the world.
The tutor is there for help, so do ask if you don't understand anything. Biographical information should be removed before the publication of the results.
Anatomy is the study of internal and external body structures. The verdict depends on which side was more convincing to the jury.
I must see him before he flies out to London for about a week. The recent technical advances have not only been big, they have also been fast. Very little of the work of today's knowledge firm is repetitive mechanical. Information is being given to readers in a format that looks familiar. The interaction of climate change and soil degradation will probably aggravate conditions. Almost every representative of a new idea has to struggle and suffer similar difficulties. Establishing and retaining intellectual leadership clearly takes strong management skills. The new hypothesis needs to be tested with a new controlled experiment. You can get a student card at the reception. It is acknowledged that his work is groundbreaking. All the assignments should be submitted by the end of this week. Even with the permit, finding a parking spot on campus is still impossible.
On behalf of our department, thank you for your participation.
Our professor is hosting the Business Development Conference next week. Please register your student email account at your earliest convenience. She has been in the library for a long time.
Due to rising enrollment for courses, universities should increase their staff too. Basketball was created in 1891 by a physician and physical education instructor.
Does the professor keep regular office hours?
Unfortunately, the two most interesting economics electives clash on my timetable.
Portfolio is due to the Internal Review Office no later than Tuesday.
A demonstrated ability to write clear, correct, and concise English is obligatory.
I'm afraid Professor Jones didn't suffer fools gladly.
I think it's a shame that some foreign language teachers were able to graduate from college without ever having studied with a native speaker. The original Olympic Games were celebrated as religious festivals. The real reason for global hunger is not the lack of food, but poverty. The result of the study will be published next month. When I was in school, I had many of the same problems you do now. A study skills seminar is on for the students who require assistance. Eating too much can lead to too many health problems. Remember to sign the attendance register before leaving the lecture hall. The university celebrated the Earth Day by planting trees. 39.5% California residents don't speak English at home. A full list of bibliography is needed at the end of all filed assignments. 39.5% California residents speak a language other than English at home. Could you pass the material to students that are in your row? The test selected materials from all chapters in this course this semester. I'm glad that you've got it. Children are not allowed in the chemical labs. You should include your name and identification number in the application form. Students are afraid of writing an essay, because they have learned nothing about it. All filed assignments should have a full list of bibliography. All students must participate in the exercise. The computer viruses destroy all my files. Your enrollment information, results and fees will be available online. I don't like cheese tomato sandwich on white bread. The professor has promised to put his lecture notes online. I think the university's main campus is closed. Just wait a minute, I will be with you shortly.
The information on the Internet becomes more reliable.
Students' services provide help with housing and transport. I still don't understand the last sentence. We don't have enough evidence to draw conclusions. The cafe house is closed down and the snack machine is still running throughout the night.
The original Olympic game is one kind of original festival.
Rules about breaks and lunchtime vary from one company to another.
My tutorial class will begin on the next Monday's morning.
Company exists for money, not for society. We provide a wide range of courses to undergraduate and postgraduate students. Acupuncture is a technique involved in traditional Chinese medicine. Don't forget to do a campus tour on the first week of your semester. Don't forget to do a library tour on the first week of your semester. Maybe it is time for me to make some changes. Knives and forks should be placed next to the spoon on the edge of the table. I will now demonstrate how the reaction can be arrested by adding a dilute acid. Much of his research objectives are driven by his natural curiosity and instincts. We are warning the clients that the rates are increasing. The fire left the area almost completely devoid of vegetation. However, this method is problematic in terms of accuracy. The date of the invention of the first clock is disputed among historians. In the past, students were required to complete 2 long written assignments. We've decided to ask you to write 4 short pieces of written coursework this year. We are also going to be more prescriptive about what you focus on in your presentation. Many of the urban poor lived in extremely cramped conditions. Novelists have a major role to play in reflecting their time to their readers. A periodical is a publication that is issued regularly. New York City is famous for its ethnic diversity. The mismatch between the intended and reported uses of the instrument has become clear. Essays should be typed with double space in white paper. This article covers who, where and when of the conflict.
Students are held accountable for adhering to established community standards.
Fees are heavily discounted and bursaries are available for delegates. This course will examine some of the profound ethical dilemmas. It is quite clear that the rising prosperity does not make people feel more content. They were struggling to pay their fees last year. Students can get access to computers on a daily basis. The economic class will take place in the main lecture room. Dr. Green's office has been moved to the 2nd floor of the building. There are no scheduled classes during the final exam weeks. Would you pass the book on the left-hand side? Professor Smith will be late for today's lecture. The United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy and parliamentary democracy. We will discuss these 2 pictures in next lecture. We would like people to write a case study, describing an organization they know. We are not going to accept the assignment after the due date on Friday. Tutorials are held for 2 hours every Thursday during semester. The technology they introduced meant that metal and leather goods were produced there for the first time. The student welfare officer can help with questions about exam techniques. The smoke from these contributed a great deal to the air pollution. The Romans left in 410 at the beginning of the 5th century. The professor will talk about the summary in the lecture. The English word typhoon comes from the Chinese word big wind. The development is mainly included in Chapter 9. The country suffered a series of invasion by tribes from present-day Germany and Denmark. The circulation desk is located on the ground floor. The campus tour will help you get familiar with the teaching facilities. The brief outline takes us to the beginning of the 20th century. Please hand in assignments at the main office. Parents should provide guidance and examples to children's values. International students can get help with locating housing near the university. In the last few weeks, we've been looking at various aspects of the social history of London. During the next few centuries, London became one of the most powerful and prosperous cities in Europe. A lot of agricultural workers came to the East End to look for alternative work. America is related to the chocolate industry. England is parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy. Knife and forks should be placed next to the spoon on the edge of the table. The seminar will be on the last week of the quarter. Students need to finish their assignments during next 4 weeks. The visiting professor is going to give a lecture for geology. This part of the story is the story of my father. The modern approach to the problem is to stress the symbolic side of human nature. Without doubt, his primary motive was economic. Does the university have an ice hockey team? If you want to quit the student union, tell the registrar. Most students are not eligible to claim housing benefits.
The glass is not a true solid because it doesn't have crystal structure.
I'll start with a brief history of the district, and then focus on life in the first half of the 20th century. The medical center is located near the supermarket on North Street. The results of the study underscored the discoveries from early detection. The minimal mark for distinction is 75%.
Overcrowding and poor sanitary conditions affected the daily lives of the majority of the population.
Please have copies of your seminar papers in the library a week in advance. You will be informed of the results by email. There will be a significant rise in tuition fees starting next year. There is a position available for a junior lecturer in media studies. The Drama Society is now auditioning for parts in the student play. There are hundreds of clubs and societies to choose from. Make sure you correctly cite all your sources.
Jonathan is seldom on time for anything. Professor Clayton donated some of her books to the college library.
Charles used to ride the bus to town, but now his roommate drives him in.
It's unusual that the university should offer only one anthropology course.
Trade financing for the local market or the international market for exports begins from the first stop at the banks.
Export trade finance companies or agencies also provide information and support for export working capital.
Trade finance is an important part of the business. Let's look at the economic costs first. When we look at the effects of corporate crime, we may find it's very difficult to assess the costs. There are several reasons for this lack of interest in corporate crime compared with other types of crime. There's been far more research on conventional crime and far more data is available.
Psychologists use a range of techniques,
to study the human mind and behavior. Psychology relies on scientific methods to investigate questions and arrive at conclusions. Psychology is the study of the mental processes and behavior.
At the end of the Ice Age, there would have been enormous changes in animal and plant life. New shores were formed and totally different creatures would have washed up onto the shores. This brought about the tremendous change in the environment, with the sea level rising and creeping steadily inland.
Don't be afraid to leave part of research problems for future work.
Enrollment in classes is supposed to be completed via university record system. What should I do in order to open a bank account?
You must be willing to accept any of your choices you selected. There is no guarantee that you will get your first choice. You should pre-select 3 to 4 courses that you are interested in taking. This is a chance to take a risk, try something new and something that you like. First of all, courses are listed on our website before registration. At night, sailors in the Mediterranean can see the glow from the fiery molten material that is thrown into the air. Most of American volcanoes are hidden under the seas. Volcanoes have played a key role in forming and modifying the Earth. Today we are going to move on to the next chapter, volcano.
During times of change, they should be thinking not only about the strain on the staff,
and that creates difficult situations for people.
Change in the workplace can be quite tricky.
This office is highly associated with your academic life on campus.
The wheelchair grade walk to Russell Falls is the most popular track in the park. Going to Blue National Park, you cannot afford to miss seeing the amazing wildlife. An interesting feature of the show is that the performers are so young. The youngest is only 14.
This argument relies on huge advances in computer translation and speech recognition. The future of English is in the hands of countries where non-native speakers live. English is expanding as a lingua franca, but not as a mother tongue.
Every car maker in Europe has sort of been on the blocks because of their dependence on diesel. And it's hard to take out the pollutants.
The plan is to phase out all cars with internal combustion engines by 2050.
Modern Thanksgiving was first officially established in all states in 1863.
Well, words come out of the culture that they represent and they describe.
And they might only breathe twice an hour.
I'm going to be late for my next class.
Sydney is Australia's largest city, chief port and cultural centre.
Newspapers are supported primarily by the sale of advertising space.
The nearest automatic teller is in front of the anatomy labs. He started his tutorial presentation right on time. The final year will consist of 4 taught courses and 1 project.
Higher numbers of patients were infected than during previous outbreaks of the illness.
Successful applicants will work with a large team of researchers.
There will be a conference here next summer on using the web for academic research. Most teaching staff make their lecture notes available online.
In the top left corner is the grinding shop, where the tools were sharpened and finished. In front of us is the car park, as you can see, and to the left, by the entry gate, is the gift shop. Oh, by the way, if you want more information about any of the trips, have a look in the student newspaper. To start your visit, I'm just going to give you a brief account of the history of the museum. Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 14 to 20. but we have confirmed the dates and planned the optional extra visits. Then we go for ones where we know there are guided tours, because this gives a good focus for the visit.
I know most of you come to the national park for Mount Field.
Physics is the subject of matter and energy. Students should take advantage of the online resources before attending the lecture. I won't be able to attend the lecture because I have a doctor appointment.
I need more quotations to back up my argument.
The initial results are intriguing, but statistically speaking, they are insignificant.
The meeting will take place in the main auditorium.
It isn't certain whether or not other animals dream.
Rather unfortunately, ads sometimes give misleading information rather than informing.
Many of my friends say they want to leave home to study overseas, but I wouldn't.
He studied for many years with an expert painter.
The gallery has shown many Chinese paintings.
Next week's assignment will be similar to last week's.
Email increases the chances of miscommunication.
Our lecture on robotic engineering takes place on Tuesday.
This will make the tutoring session really slow.
Students can avoid viruses by eating lots of fruit and vegetables.
In the Middle Ages, a disease caused world population to fall.
Parents try to influence their children by using toys and other incentives.
New timetables will be posted on the student notice board.
The school should be spending all of that money to construct a new science library.
Would you like to come to the gallery with me?
Before electric lighting, adults generally slept about 9 or 10 hours per night. Even now, scientists still don't know whether animals dream while they sleep.
She had a great exhibition last year.
Sleep science is a very active area of research.
Nowadays, boys and girls still often conform to gender stereotypes.
Even in big companies, some bad decisions have been attributed to group conformity.
Generally, consumers don't trust advertisements.
Spending quality time together is important for most families, but unfortunately, it's not always possible to do so.
All students are encouraged to vote in the forthcoming elections.
Basically, marketing is about making people want to buy.
The studies show that people's mood can be affected by news and weather reports.
It's important that humans dispose of their waste in appropriate ways.
Another is an electric bus with an open bottom for cars to drive under.
People who carry on eating junk food may suffer negative health consequences.
Academics need to go outside the university gates and communicate with ordinary people.
By agreement with the government, the fast food company restricted its advertising.
The painter is well known for his abstract period.
The bus will depart from outside of the building in 5 minutes.
He would yearn for the chance to learn from a well-known artist.
I'd like to get a place of my own as soon as I can.
Please sign your name here if you want to join the social club.
Let's all meet at 4 and not 3 as we agreed before.
There are many abstract paintings here.
You'll find the economics section on the second floor of the library.
The conference is predicted to draw greater numbers than last year.
In the end, it's what people like to eat that's important.
The feeling of disgust is related to the stomach.
Most people dislike advertisements, but appear to be influenced by them anyway.
Please note that the college laboratories will be closed for cleaning next week.
There are no places left in the morning tutorial.
Our future well-being depends on action we take now.
Social robots can show different facial expressions and emotions.
Politicians and marketing professionals have a good understanding of persuasion.
Please switch off all electronic devices when you are attending a conference session.
It gradually spread to many places throughout Europe by the 1600s.
I've always wanted to get a degree in electronic engineering.
He's showing his work at the London Gallery of Art.
Economy of scale is the increase in efficiency that occurs when more goods are produced.
In just 12 years, the global population rose from 6 to 7 billion.
Early next year, there's a major auction of his work.
Our friends give us emotional support, although not always. Conformity to the wrong group can be rather dangerous.
Some species of birds can sleep while they are flying.
We should attempt to lower the amount of traffic on roads.
Some of the worst accidents in history have been linked to sleep deprivation.
Surprisingly, some people actually enjoy watching advertisements on television.
Scientists still aren't sure why we need to sleep.
This short line on the painting represents life.
I'm not sure, really. Most research is beneficial, but some can be unethical, or even dangerous.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone should try to interfere with nature.
Scientific developments often cause lots of problems, so sometimes they're not worth it.
Not everyone wants to keep in touch with their old school friends when they leave school, but I would like to.
Some people think that having a child is not a major responsibility, but obviously it is.
Some teenagers in my school are not very well behaved, but fortunately all my friends are.
Next year I'm planning to take a sabbatical so that I can travel to South America.
I'd like to start a family when I'm about 30 years old.
I hope I can take early retirement before I'm 60.
The Students' Union governs the use of the sports centre.
Please leave any questions related to the topic until the end. To acquire a copy of the presentation, please go to my website.
Copying from the internet threatens to damage your chances of success.
In 2011, the population of the world reached 7 billion. 2,000 years ago, there were few people in the world. This number went up very slowly over several centuries. New technology has a role to play in innovation. We could invest in effective public transport. One solution is a system of electric cars to hire on demand. If little action is taken, we could experience energy shortages.
It's my opinion that technological advances will begin to slow.
Most adults need around 8 hours of sleep every night.
Fatigue is a factor in a significant proportion of road accidents.
Elephants spend some of their sleeping time standing up and some of it lying down. People see ads on the internet, on TV, and in magazines.
Advertisements can occur in unusual places, even in the sea or in the sky.
Generally, consumers trust friends more than commercial information such as advertisements.
He needs to talk to you about your industrial architecture class.
Nowadays, persuasion is an important area of research within social psychology. An understanding of persuasive techniques should help you recognize their use.
Conformity involves acting or thinking like other group members.
People often conform during their leisure time as well as in their work hours.
Children, for example, are often exposed to negative role models and peer pressure.
The artist used an apartment as his studio.
He has a good collection of art. A course in art will stimulate creativity.
The artist is exhibiting at the National Art Gallery next year.
He would use his brushes in new and interesting ways. Supplementary energy sources are needed after exertion.
It is one of the oldest original parts of our university.
A new cafe is opening in the library's basement.
So, what do the lungfish do in order to survive?
First of all, a lot of students don't even know how to type very fast.
The atmosphere is very important to our lives, and we cannot live without it.
Students do better when they interact with others with completely different perspectives on things.
My favorite place in my hometown is the main park located downtown.
There will be no extensions given for this project.
You must establish a day and time with your tutor.
The lecture on child psychology has been postponed until Friday.
There is plenty of cheap accommodation off campus.
Unlike applied arts, fine arts do not serve a practical function.
Visual aids can make presentations clearer and more interesting.
Students who wish to apply for an extension should approach their tutors.
Detailed analysis of population growth has revealed some alarming predictions.
It is important that you work as a team on this project.
The problems that science solves far outweigh the problems that it may bring.
It's important for people to connect to each other.
The amount of sleep that adults need doesn't change as they get older.
University students pay a lot of money for their education.
Some people suggest a levy on junk food to discourage its consumption.
Our exam results are consistently high in all subjects.
A new report outlines ways in which cities should address transport issues.
During some stages of sleep, your eyes move rapidly behind your closed eyelids.
Advertisements have to appeal to people of different ages, socio-economic groups and sexes.
Street lighting allows people to walk home safely at night.
Even during leisure time, you can hear attempts to persuade or influence. Public transport is the best way to travel to university.
Absolutely. I mean, scientific development can be a positive thing.
Cities need to invest more money in road systems.
Factors such as cost and function influence the design of a bridge.
Cycle lanes make it safer to travel by bike.
The impact of climate change could result in floods.
But overall, surely scientific development is a positive thing.
Extra seminars will be scheduled to assist you with revision.
The financial report for the last quarter will be available this afternoon.
Marketing involves many activities, including doing research, developing products, and promoting them.
There are several reasons for population growth, such as better education.
I can't afford to take a gap year unless I can get a job and save up.
Feelings of nerves are common to all university freshers.
The artist's early work was a good buy.
They can tutor other students who need help for the preparation of the course and the test.
The university is working towards being more environmentally sustainable.
9 out of 10 British people live in towns and cities.
My parents didn't have a good education, so they were determined that I would.
An increase in population will result in fewer resources.
Sometimes ads promote a brand rather than a particular product.
It's difficult for us to control our feelings of disgust.
People get product information from advertisements, friends, family, and product reviews.
The number of people in the world tripled during the last century.
Do you think new developments in science often cause more problems than they solve?
Advertisements are all around us, wherever we go, whatever we do.
I really don't think so. Scientists should be free to do what they like.
When we talk, we use tone and expressions to understand.
Adverts might use humour, drama, or catchy slogans to grab people's attention.
The research looked at neighbourhood cooperative schemes, such as community gardens.
Please come to the next seminar properly prepared.
He would gel if he was interrupted while painting.
Email's quick and convenient.
He was an abstract expressionist painter.
All too often, people overeat without realizing it.
The media are to blame for excessive promotion of unhealthy food.
Lack of sleep can lead to changes in behavior.
Elderly people can sometimes lose their connection to society.
In most cases, quality products don't need much advertising.
Most people feel lonely at some point in their lives.
It's important that people with responsible jobs get plenty of sleep.
It is normal to wake up several times each night.
Next time, we'll discuss the influence of the media on public policy.
There is disagreement among researchers about why we dream.
One theory says that dreams help the long-term memory.
Market research surveys may be given by telephone, the internet, or in person.
Usually, but not always, reviews provide an unbiased source of information.
Anyone who feels ill should visit our medical centre.
He's shown an interest in exciting new art movements.
It's a difficult one. If you start prohibiting some research, where do you draw the line?
But there's no context for the words we read.
Robots are able to communicate with humans around them.
There are many good methods that can be used.
Teenagers, more than most age groups, feel strong pressure to conform.
Having a shower before going to bed can help you sleep.
Here in this area, you shouldn't find any huge social problems nowadays.
Often, the point of the advertisements is to raise awareness rather than give information.
There is a lot of sugar in many fast foods.
There are ongoing problems with overconsumption of junk food.
I've had a very happy childhood, so I sometimes forget that others haven't.
Larger numbers of city residents mean greater car ownership.
We know that sleep is essential for a normal life.
Campus safety is a top priority for universities across the country.